designated Texas settlements, and 1,000 copies were ordered to be printed in handbill form to circulate the momentous news. After independence, Texans had voted overwhelmingly to join the United States, but an agreement had never been reached. Eventually, in July of 1845, a constitutional convention met in Austin to consider an annexation proposal from the United States. The question was submitted to the voters, who approved the proposal later that year. The U.S. Congress accepted the state constitution in a joint resolution to admit Texas as a state, which was signed by President John Tyler on December 29, 1845. Since independence in 1836, there have been 6 constitutions established as the law of the land. The last state constitution was adopted in 1876 and is still in effect. The documents that captured the movements of...
Are you going to Blue Jean Gala? The what? The Blue Jean Gala thing? No, I don't want to do it. It gets cool at church. Oh, I checked in on Sanders. I went back. A lot of it's in person, which I thought maybe not. Yeah, hot, you know. I don't need, I don't mind
All right, we've got another minute, and we'll start in just one more minute. Thank you. Yes, they did. Hi, Danielle. I didn't get to say hello to you. How are you?
I didn't want to interrupt you. You were talking.
I mean, it's been a week. It's been a week, and it's only Tuesday.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, it's 6:30, so let's begin. Good evening, and welcome to the City of Leon Valley City Council regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, and as you can see, all City Council members are present, and our City Attorney is online. He's not here in physical, but he's online, and he will guide us if we have a legal question this evening. So, with that said, it is an honor and a pleasure to introduce PAC 405 St. Luke's and Hope Lutheran, and the PAC leader is David Galloway, and we have been meeting right before the meeting and just discussing about voting and majority, plurality, what it takes to get elected, and answering their questions like, what is Leon Valley? How did Leon Valley get its name? You know, that kind of thing. And boy, I'm having to think about that. It's the lion. Remember, the Valley of the Lions. So anyway, I just enjoy being with y'all so much. And so with that said, if the boys from Troop PAC 405, plus we have Troop 374, we have the 2 young women, future leaders. All of them are future leaders. They're here this evening. We want to welcome you. If you would please stand and lead us in the pledge, we would be honored. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. So I know we have citizens to be heard next, but I understand if some of the Boy Scouts and troop leaders need to leave, we certainly understand that. Thank you. But if you can stay, great. Thank you so much. And but anyway, we would love to have you, and we understand it's a school night. You've got homework and all that other good stuff. So, but thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. Yes, if you have to go. All right, so let me go to agenda item number 2, citizens to be heard. Are there any citizens in the chambers that would like to address the council at this time? Please come forward and state your name and where you generally reside, and you have up to 3 minutes to speak. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Good night. All right. I know, it's always such like, oh, that's a letdown, you know, they left. Okay, anyone else? Okay, thank y'all. So then we'll move, if there's no citizens to be heard, we'll move to presentations. 3.1, discussion and direction to staff on library annex roof repair. We have Melinda Moritz, our Public Works Director, here this evening to present. Good evening, Melinda, good to see you.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor, City
You
Council.
bet, you bet.
So the library annex roof got damaged this past year by the severe storm events. We've had some hail and things like that. In addition to that, it's really, really old. The ceiling inside the building collapsed, and that's why we had the roof inspected. So the insurance claim was presented to the insurer, but the claim was denied due to the age and the condition of the roof. We went ahead and repaired the interior ceiling so that it's cleaned up because they're still using it for book sales, and then we tarped the top so no more rain can get in there. And this just shows you some pictures of the damage. But this is the interior of the building. This is not the damage from the roof. This is how it actually has been for years. And as you can see, the hallways in here are not ADA compliant. Neither is the bathroom. There's not enough room for a wheelchair to turn around. And then these are more pictures of the hallway and how condensed these rooms are. This was originally a sales building. It was not intended to be a library annex. So the lowest quote we got for the roof was $6,500. We did get one for $12,000, then I got one in the medium, about $8,700. But you could also decide to demolish and purchase a portable building for under $300,000. I think we could probably do it for under $250,000, but I want to make sure that we got enough room, enough money in there for electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. And as I said, the building is in poor condition, not ADA compliant, and really should be demolished. They're still using it for book sales. The library would like a new building that would accommodate the archives as well as their book sales. You could put it in the vacant lot that's right next to Poppy's Cafe, where we took down the record storage building. It's the exact perfect space for the same size building. The funds could come from the general fund reserve. The portableness of the building, instead of having to build it on site, we could probably have it in there in 6 months. We'd still have to come to council for bids and all that stuff, but they can just drop it down on the lot. I believe that's all we have. Something.
Is that it? Or is that?
That was it. But that's all we got.
Oh, that was it. Okay, sounds good. Okay, do you want to start?
I guess I'll go first. That's
I
fine.
wanted to know, yeah.
The building across the street from here, what do we have in there?
Right now, it's filled with storage.
Can we put the books in there?
You could, but you have library volunteers that have to haul the books from our regular library to the annex. And they're
Okay.
volunteers, they're not paid employees.
Yes.
So
Yes, ma'am.
So I do want to throw a couple of wrenches into this presentation. So yes, we do have the building across the street. We're using one of the rooms will be our PEG channel room. And so that's where we'll do hosting the PEG channel. We did get that building for like less than $300,000. And so the other thing to consider is you're also going to have to address your property room situation, and that's closer to the police department. And so there's a lot of things coming up. The department directors have been given direction to update their capital improvements plan, which includes all of the city infrastructures, plans, equipment, and stuff they're going to need over the next 10 years. That's due back to me by January the 6th. so I can provide y'all an update. The mayor would like me to update y'all before the January 24th town hall meeting, so we'll probably have to set up individual meetings for me to go through that with y'all. But the idea is to go over that infrastructure with the general public well, that was the plan, to go over it in January. This popped up as kind of like, hey, the roof is leaking, what do you want to do about it? So you could either repair the roof now to keep them just going. I mean, for the most part, the amount requested to fix the roof isn't that much, but you would be investing that amount of money into that building. I don't know if the residents or the council, because we do have money in reserve fund. However, I don't want to start taking money and start paying for things when you have other needs and y'all don't know all your other needs. And so I would like for y'all to have a full picture before you start pulling money from your reserve fund to invest in infrastructure, large infrastructure. So the idea of y'all going and spending the 300, I would love, I mean, don't get me wrong, love the Friends, think that I love y'all's money and donations to the library. So, but at the same time, I want to make sure you have the list of full infrastructure. So either the council can decide how they want to spend those dollars and do it in a way where they have the full picture, or if y'all decide, hey, we want to take this to the residents of Leon Valley in an election of some sort, and the residents pick what infrastructure needs are most important to them. The other thing to consider that's not on this list that will be on the infrastructure list is we just got word that the Linkwood streets need reconstruction, and the estimate that we're getting, that we're still waiting on the final, but it was like $2 million roughly. And so
Wow.
So that's also a need that's coming down the pike for reconstruction on those streets. But I would like for you to have all of your needs in front of you before you start dedicating funds for that type of large project or a larger project.
Okay, I got one more then.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Caldera. If by any unlikely chance, we probably hope not, that we're going to demolish it, where will the books go to in the meantime that this building is being demolished and being rebuilt?
We'd have to figure that out. We'd have to store them somewhere.
Okay,
So we would store them probably at the building across the street. We'd probably pack them up and store them. The majority of the rooms are being used as storage. It'd probably be the most logical situation. The other thing to consider is we were originally looking at the prefab building being moved behind the library, which I think the dollar amount would go, I don't know, the water's there because it used to be apartment buildings.
Yeah, that's what I was telling them earlier. It's where the old
Where
record
both the
storage
storage
building, there
used
is
to be.
water there, electric there, and there was an HVAC unit. So the utilities are at the site, it's just hooking them up.
And then it's in close proximity to the library versus them having to cross Pross Road.
okay, well,
Thank you.
thank you for the answers. I'm willing to wait till January 6th as well.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm willing to do that as well. I think we've had this discussion before, and I don't know why we're still doing isn't it 50 cents a book once, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we're still into selling the book sales every first Saturday or something, and that we get, what, $1,000 a year? Or
Well,
Not very
the library
much.
director did a presentation on that. This was during the capital, the bond meetings that we had.
Oh, okay.
And she said for every dollar you put into it, you get a return on your investment of some huge amount. And
Oh,
so
really?
it's not, yeah, and she did a full presentation on it.
We haven't seen that one then.
And you did see it, but
You-
it's been 2 years.
Yeah, but it was more.
I thought
so-
it was recent, yeah.
So you
I-
get dollars, but you get an in-kind service in regards
Well,
to the Friends.
yeah.
And so it's whether or not the value you put on that in-kind service you get from that coordination. Again, it's one of those decisions I think that you should make when you have all of the
Yeah,
information
okay.
in front of
Well,
you.
this-
But I
yeah,
also
agree.
want to make sure that you understand keeping a tarp on that hole is also probably not the best option either. And so, because I don't want it to cause more damage and y'all decide y'all want to fix it or whatever. So the amount requested to do the repair may be worth it in the short term, because it may, even if y'all decide and you wait till January and say y'all decided, it's not something that's going to happen in the next couple of months anyway. So you're still going to go for another 6 months with this hole in the building, and I don't think that that's right either. So, it's kind of one of those things. I do think that you probably should consider at least repairing the roof.
Yeah. I don't know. How much does it cost to demolish it?
Oh, it would be public works, so it'd just.
Oh,
a
it'd be
matter of
Public Works,
hauling.
okay. And then I'm thinking that, why don't we share, I mean, if this is what the council wants to do, is get a new building for $300,000, which is a lot of money, I think we ought to maybe share that cost with the Friends and maybe do a GoFundMe campaign or something, and they raise half and we match it or something. I mean, I just think that that's to show the community support that they want to continue with selling these used books, because that's what it's for, right?
Well,
Just used books.
The other use that they wanted out of it was not just for selling the books, but
Okay.
also to get the archives out of the main library and
Okay.
have them over there so that they could have a historical presentation. Right now, they're stuck in that back room, and I don't think anybody goes in there to see them, to tell you the truth. I don't think a lot of people even know they're there. And so this would
Okay.
have been a place to showcase archives, plus do book sales, plus generate more interest in the library.
Okay, all right, those are my ideas, but I'm hearing from my colleagues, Mr. Campos, if you'll continue the discussion.
Melinda, or Crystal, when do you think you'd have the capital presentation for us?
That's what I'm saying. My goal is to have it for the town hall meeting. And so their exercise, because they have to get quotes for everything, was their deadline to me or to Carol to get all the information to put it in the plan is January the 6th. So it's going to take me a week or two to go through it, analyze all the stuff that's in there, make sure it's in the right fund, put it in the right fund, kind of do an analysis. So it may take me a week. It kind of depends on what's coming up too. My goal is for January 24th, and the mayor didn't want to be blindsided at the town hall, so she wanted me to set up meetings. So the sooner I can get it done, the better, but my goal is January 24th.
So do you think
Mid-January,
mid-January for
yeah.
our presentation? Okay. And in the meantime, what can be done other than this, I'm assuming that the $6,500 is re-roofing it?
Yes, sir.
Is there something
Can
in
you patch it?
between?
No, the decking is shot. I mean, the roof is probably 30 years old, and it's never been replaced as far as we can tell. And so the decking's warped underneath it. There could be other holes. The 6,500 was the base quote without knowing what's underneath the whole thing. We could get lucky and there could be no damage, but I seriously doubt it.
Okay, so we're looking about 60 days just to find out, a little bit more than 60 days to find out the capital needs, right? For the individual
Correct.
presentations, and then we can make, so yeah, and we need to make some type of progress on it. We just can't leave, you're describing a hole? Is that what,
If you saw the,
I saw small holes, I didn't see.
Thank y'all,
that's-
bye-bye.
I only took a couple of pictures of it. I didn't put all the pictures in there. It's not like a gaping hole. It's damaged shingles, damaged decking, and so, that's a hole. Unfortunately, that's a hole.
So it's in
But
shambles.
see
My
all this
understanding is
ridge?
like it's seeping through, so they're not like actual holes, but because it's so damaged, it's just leaking through the roof.
This is the ridge line. It's shot. This is a hole. There's another ridge line. It's shot. I mean, the whole roof needs to be replaced.
And kind of give me an idea of how much time or how do people spend in that building? Because I'm trying to figure out, is this a health and safety issue?
I'm gonna phone a friend, Miss Christensen.
Oh,
Can you come up to the
Mary Ann,
mic?
yeah, we're recording, so.
We have sales the first Saturday of every month from 9:30 to 12. Twice a year, we have 2 sales that run 2 days. So that's a Friday and a Saturday. The Friday is from 9 to 6, and then again, the Saturday is from 9:30 to 12. And then we have volunteers that come in to sort and file the books. That's normally 1 day a week when we have donations, and that's anywhere from an hour to 2 hours.
And so this annex, people contribute used books to it? Is that how this works?
We get new books and used books. They either come directly to the annex or they go directly to the library. The library will look at the books and see if they have it part of their collection. If they do, then the new books come to us and the used books.
Okay. All right.
And puzzles and DVDs.
And Mary Ann, how much do you generate annually on these book sales? Would you say, just a ballpark figure?
Probably somewhere between $1,200 and $1,500.
For the year?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yes. Betty, Counselor Heil.
What happens if we just tarp it for a couple months?
Well,
Is
that's
that-
what it is right now.
I mean, if you tarp the entire roof, is that not feasible?
It's not
It's not the
stable.
best.
Yeah, I mean, we can try it, you know, if a storm comes up, blows it off, then you've got more damage inside, you know, it's gonna rain eventually.
We think.
My concern was more of like any oncoming storms in the next like I'm taking a chance by leaving it tarped.
And critters, you know,
Yeah.
squirrels, possums, cats, somebody's feeding cats over there, so, you know.
But the minimum is 6,500, is that what you're saying? The
That's the
minimum is
minimum. I'd go with the
6,500?
middle one because,
Which is how much?
87, it's about 8,700.
8,700, okay, thank you. What do you think? Did you have another follow-up?
That was it.
Okay.
I just can't see spending $8,700 to roof an old building that we're going to tear down in a couple months. That's my only concern.
And I didn't know if y'all were gonna decide to tear it down. Y'all may decide to continue to patch what's there. You know, that may not be part of your infrastructure
Okay.
selection. So I didn't want to damage it even more and y'all decide, look, we're not gonna invest in that right now. We're just gonna do the roof and continue to patch the current building while we do X, Y, Z instead. And so I didn't wanna cause more damage and then that stay there. And then we're trying to fix it.
It's gonna take y'all quite a few months to figure out, once you get the list of all the stuff, like Link Meadow itself, that's $1 million. Part of Lakeview, that's $500,000. The rest of the streets in Lakewood, I think we can get away with using street maintenance tax for, but you know, it depends on what the condition of those streets are. Then you've got, you know, other big projects that you want to do too. And so you're not going to make a decision in February, I don't think. I think it's going to take you at least 6 to 8 months to make decisions. So that means that building could be sitting there from now until this time next year, possibly.
I don't know. That's a tough
We
one.
have several
Yeah.
citizens, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to hear from Counselor Mersch and Counselor Bolton, if you have anything to add. Thank you.
I understand what Melinda is saying, that, you know, even if we decide to spend the $300,000 to build a new building or whatever, it's probably going to be down the line. So I don't think tarping it is a realistic solution. And whether we, instead of going with the 8,700, go with the 6,500, just to get a solid roof on there, because it may be a year before any other decision is made about, do we keep using this building? Do we tear it down? Do we build a new one? And other than that, you're going to ruin everything that's in there if you don't take some definitive action to repair that roof or to re-roof that. So I don't know that we really have a choice to kind of buy time, because I don't think the city could move fast enough. Again, we don't know what the other capital projects are and where this one will rank in terms of the needs and that sort of thing. Like Crystal said, it may be pushed down the road where we don't do anything in the next year for it. And so we'll buy a little more time with use of that building by putting a roof on it now.
I can tell you that we've been discussing this issue for many, many years.
And
we
so
haven't done
if we
anything, so-
don't do something, it could be many, many years more before we make a
Yeah.
decision about it. So
But I'm kind of hearing what Counselor Heil is saying, $8,700, I don't know.
You know, chances are, when you tear all those shingles off, that roof is probably, it's 30 years old. That wood is probably
Oh,
just
it's more than that.
rotted.
1969,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, there's probably nothing there.
79, or I thought it was 69.
Well, the building was donated to the city back in the early 70s.
But
And
it was
originally
But it was
Valley
built
Library.
before then, so that's what I'm saying. It's old.
So chances are it's going to be higher than 6,500 when
That's
they
why I
tear.
said
Yeah,
8,700.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, so did I hear the consensus is just to, oh, let's hear from our citizens. There we go, thank you, Mr. Yarnell, I appreciate it. Come on up. What do you think we should do? Yeah. Good
Mayor
evening and
Council.
welcome.
I have a related question
Uh-huh.
for Ms. Melinda. When we remodel this building, what did we find on the south wall?
We found that we had to put $50,000 into contingency because the back wall was falling off.
And we had taken pretty good care, relatively speaking, of this building, correct? Maintenance annually or monthly or whatever it took. This is a building that came to us in the early 70s as a used building.
Mm-hmm.
$8,700. And we have we're looking at a picture. Now, is this going to get better as we get deeper into the building? Are we going to find strong wood and we won't have to do more than the roof? Chances are no.
Well-
Water does not go up,
So, yeah, so maybe we should,
and it's time.
yeah, is one of the options I heard is to demolish it and move the books someplace else and then wait for the decision?
Well, what is
For
it,
a future-
where would the books go?
Well, that's what the Dr. Caldera said, be
I missed the
across,
first part
I'm
of the
sorry,
meeting.
she said across the street?
Across the street, but it
We
wouldn't be
ha-
open to the public. We couldn't have the public in and out. It'd just be storage.
It'd
It's
just be
not-
storage.
It's
Yeah.
not compliant.
I
We
understand,
haven't
but
gone, yeah.
maybe that's
We haven't
what we
done
oughta
any
do.
modifications to that
Uh-huh.
building. It's not open to the general public. We would store what's there.
Mm.
I mean, so,
Plus, if we do move the books over here to store them, how many years are they going to stay there stored?
How many years?
Because you won't be making a decision that quickly.
Well, because the pressure for the evidence room is gonna push that decision faster, I think. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
yeah, I mean, there's, again, they're not my decisions to make, they're y'all's decisions to make, and I think for me, it's important for me to give you the full picture and not just say, oh, we gotta do the library annex now, or the property room. Maybe the property room doesn't happen in the next year, it's 2 years down the road, or 5 years down the road, but it is coming at some point, you're gonna have to make a decision on that. And I'm looking at proximity and future, so I'm like, okay, if you ever turn that into a library annex, it's too far from the library. They already have trouble now getting the books from where they're at to the library annex. And so imagine having it over here, it would make it a
No.
little bit more difficult.
That would
How
have
many
to be a
public visitors
temporary.
do we have to that location now? Are the library people considered public visitors?
Yes,
So they would have no access?
correct.
So that would take care of all the book sales and all the adding and all that kind of thing?
So if we're storing the books, that we would just be storing them, they couldn't sell them. They could maybe do like an online store and we can pull them out or something like that. I mean, some alternatives for that, but, I mean, if y'all aren't gonna repair the roof, my recommendation would be leave it tarped and just hope for the best and let them keep operating the way that they're operating. I just didn't know when a decision was going to be made for it, and I thought, well, if you decide to keep the building, I didn't want to destroy the stuff that's in the building, and that's something y'all decide to continue to do for the next 2 to 3 years to continue to patch that building and continue to allow them to use it. I didn't want to cause more damage. But I know that in the conversation about the bond, it was the least prioritized building out of all the ones presented. And so I don't know if the residents still feel that way. I don't know if we decide to add 3 or 4 items to go to the voters at some point to expend those funds. Maybe y'all want to decide to not take it to the voters, but say you do, I don't know how that would favor in an election either, so.
I'd say at the very least, or very most, move the books over here and take them and tear the building down and get rid of it. It's not gonna it's very close to $1,000 right now. You're not gonna find anything as positive when you open that thing up, right? This was not,
I mean, it's just the roof, so I'm not,
I know, but
Yeah.
the water goes down, it doesn't go up, and it spreads inside.
Mhm. And it's mold.
It goes everywhere
got mold.
that's low.
Yeah,
Well, they're books.
Yes,
mildew.
I think it's time to pull the trigger. I'm sorry, that's not a good term to say.
Okay, all right, so you're for
I'm
storing
for
the books
very-
and
very
demolishing the
most, moving
building?
them over here,
Yeah,
analyze how many books are actually, we're using or, and demolish it.
okay, well,
I
I-
agree with Olin.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
think
kinda
it'd be
leaning that way, too.
advantageous for us to continue to put money
Yeah.
in something. It's like when I used to put
And-
money into my 55 Chevy, it never got me anywhere anyway. But, but I kept putting money in it, and we're gonna continue putting money in this. I'd like to put the books up for a little bit, give us some time to regroup. We just had a very stringent budget that we went through. Let us put the books up so they won't get damaged, and we can find an inventive way to try to, bring it back to, so.
Well, okay, yes.
So I also want to note, though, the longer you store the books, 2 or 3 months, their worth goes down too, right? So if we get new books in and we're storing them, that book isn't going to sell. Like, I mean, so I just don't want to move the book, because, I mean, the soapbox derby cars are the prime example of that. We're finally going to auction them off, but we move them, we're not doing an event anymore, and then we're moving them from one place to another place to another place, and we're just taking up vital space with stuff.
So, the other thing
Well-
too is we can tarp this roof if you want to postpone this decision. We can tarp the roof and just keep an eye on it. That way they could still keep having their book sales and doing all the things that they want to do. And that way we don't have to have them in storage over there. They get the turnover that they need.
And then if there's any future damage, then we can do the suggestion, which is move it over there. Like if the tarp flies off and water gets in, then we can do as Plan B. But at least right now, they can continue to at least try to have their book sales between now and January.
Well, I'm saying 1,200, 1,500 annually?
I mean, that's a long-term
We could
decision,
We
though.
could do
I'm
something
saying,
else to raise that kind of money for the library, I think.
Yeah.
How about a garage sale or something, you know? But have we thought about, you know, just maybe having a couple of weekends and saying, come on in, we're selling all these books, try to get rid of as many books as we can.
This has
raise it-
nothing to do with the city. The book sales and how that's
I
a
know, but
501c3,
but you're
so
saying
that's a question
you don't
for
want to
them.
store them
I
because
don't
they
wanna
lose
store
their
them 'cause they're
value.
really not
But I'm
city
saying
property.
let's try to sell them all, and then what we don't sell, let's give them to half-price books or donate them to the jail or something, and
Would you
get-
like to?
get out of the book
There might be a little
sale.
suggestion for you. Why don't we could postpone this to the next council meeting?
Uh-huh.
And that gives you time to see the library director's presentation that she did provide 2 years ago on what
can't
their
remember
return
that
on investment was. And also give them time to weigh in on your decision.
Sure,
Because I'm
I
just telling you
understand.
about the damage, how much it's going to cost to fix it. I don't have all of their financial information.
Okay. What do y'all think? Yes, okay. Yes, Counselor Howell.
I agree with that, and in the meantime, you tarp it?
Yes, it's
And
tarped.
it's
been
tarped, so
tarped,
it's fine. Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we need a motion for
I
that?
would
All
prefer a
right.
motion, please.
So who would like to make that motion?
I can.
Okay. Go ahead.
I make a motion that
We postpone,
we postpone until January, is that,
November 11th,
no, okay.
November 18th.
18th, I'm sorry.
Postpone
Yeah.
Until the November
18th,
18th meeting to
mhm.
revisit, after we have reviewed, the presentation, make how we want to attack the library routes.
Okay. We have a motion by Counselor Bolton and a second by Counselor Heil to postpone this agenda item to November 18th to get more information, to hear from the Friends, and hear the library director's presentation on November 18th to make a more informed decision. Any further discussion? I kind of elaborated on that, so is that all right? Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Yeah, I'm telling you, this has been years. We keep going round and round and round. It's tough.
Well, and the reason we
tough.
brought it to you is because,
I know.
if we spend $8,700 on it, that's about how much I'd spend to demolish it.
How much?
That's about how much I'd spend demolishing it.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Well, I thought you said Public Works would do it, so that
But
would
it's
be
still their time
Their
and then-
time. I
and their
understand that. I
disposal.
understand that,
haul
but
it all off.
And
yeah,
the
you have to
disposal
haul
and
it
the-
off. Okay. Okie dokie. Well, thank you. I certainly appreciate that, Melinda. And thank you, Marianne, for your input as well. Okay, we're moving to 3.2 presentation of Leon Valley crime trends and community safety update. We have David Gonzalez, our police chief, here this evening to present. Good evening and welcome.
Mayor.
Yes,
Council.
very enlightening.
So this presentation is a comparison of 24-25, and it is from January to September. It's a 9-month period.
Okay,
Okay, so
not a full year.
during this time of year, I'm preparing for my annual report, which is October 1st to September 30th, that's coming. We just finished it today. So then, in addition to that, we do a state report, which is where this came from. The state report is January to December.
Okay.
Okay, so that's coming up early next year. I wanted to put that out there because this is a 9-month presentation.
Okay.
Click on it, Miranda. There you go.
Okay, so let me begin with Leon Valley at a glance, 11,000 residents. However, we have probably in excess of 90,000 visitors every day. They pass through here on our major thoroughfares. So this is a little deceiving because we're not talking about 11,000 people. We're talking about 100,000 people in a 3.5 square mile area. We're surrounded by San Antonio. There is no wall, there is no fence. We respond to calls and we respond to complaints, concerns from citizens. So this is how we do business. We're committed to finding those criminals, but we also need the community's help. This is where citizen calling, emailing, contacting you so you can tell us what's going on in their neighborhoods. Plus, we have neighborhood officers. So our violent crime, 2024 versus 2025, we're down. We're looking at murders, rapes, robberies, aggravated assaults.
Now, Chief, is this just for the 9 months again?
Yes, this is just
Okay,
for the
I just
9
want to
months.
be sure. You have 24, 25, just want to be sure it's still just the 9 months.
Correct.
Okay.
So we're doing well. I like this because I don't like violent crime. This is how we look. Property crimes. This is a major concern. Property crimes, nonviolent crimes matter. There's an article that I just sent the city manager today that discusses how people view property crimes. You see property crimes all over the place, a lot more than you see violent crimes. If you're not hanging out in the wrong places, you're probably not going to see violent crimes. But you see property crimes everywhere. The porch pirates, the thieves at the convenience store, the thieves at the vape store, the thieves in parking lots. A lot more places than violent crimes. The larceny and auto theft is where we had increases. And I can narrow that.
Would you define larceny to make sure we all, okay,
Theft,
is it shoplifting? Is that including shoplifting?
Everything, yes.
Everything?
Every kind of
Okay.
theft that you can possibly think of.
Okay,
Except for auto thefts.
except for
'Cause
auto.
That's a separate
Now, is
category.
auto theft where they actually take the whole car?
Yes.
Off, yeah, that happened to me at my house, yeah, a while
So-
back, long time ago. Yeah, okay.
We have several businesses
Hmm.
that attract a lot of cars, a lot of people. H-E-B, Hobby Lobby, the different Seneca Plaza across the street, the Rita's Cafe, Tia's Cafe. There's large parking areas. That's where they steal cars from, in addition to driveways. The thefts and the auto thefts, I can narrow that down to 4 different places. Apartment complexes, and the 2 businesses that I mentioned, the H-E-B parking lot area and the Hobby Lobby parking area. But I can't keep a policeman there 24/7 because I don't have that many policemen. I have to spread them out through the city. So I know where the problems are, but I can't pinpoint a time. So that's a concern. That's something that we're going to have to work on. But I know that when I have a policeman at the time that I'm having the thefts, the thieves are going to respond. They're going to do their thefts at a different time.
Okay. So you're saying apartment complex, H-E-B parking lot, and Hobby Lobby parking lot is where the auto thefts,
That's where my increase were.
that's where your increase
Here.
was, in those 3
in
areas?
in this snapshot.
In this snapshot, okay, but just auto thefts, okay, thank you, I just wanted to clarify that. Yes, Counselor Orozco, go ahead.
Chief, thank you. As far as auto theft, there's some malls that have cameras that are provided by the people that own the malls.
Yes.
Now, Hobby Lobby area, I know that it's privately owned, and so is H-E-B. A good example is Senna. They put cameras because they're getting theft for the wood that they put for building materials and stuff. Is there a way that we can encourage or maybe even force these high-rate crime areas to put up cameras the way they do in other mall areas or private businesses?
As a police officer, I can ask. I can't pass an ordinance.
Sure.
That's,
We can, right?
But you can't, so you can't force so this question's come up before. Y'all can't do an ordinance in Arts Online, so you can ask him to force a property owner to expend funds to add security cameras to their property. Like, that'd be like us telling them, you must do X, Y, Z to your property. We can't force them to do that. But one of the things to tag on to, and I'm sure the chief is going to get to the flock cameras. Y'all just received the
Yeah, right.
grant for the
Mhm,
flock
I've got
cameras.
that
So we're
down.
hoping that will assist in this area.
But can I just ask you, I was just thinking, remember at the apartment complex on Evers?
if they met
If
a
they
certain,
if they do a certain
threshold. So-
threshold, then we said you have to have a security guard. Can we do that here
Well,
with so many auto thefts
No.
and, okay?
No, so you
I
had
mean,
to.
I'm just
yeah.
trying to compare
yes.
and contrast here.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you also have auto thefts in the church, and not necessarily the St. John Baptist where they broke into all the calls or the cars. They didn't steal the vehicles, but they broke in. We shared that video with y'all where they broke into the cars because they know people are going to be in church for an hour, so they'll go and they'll break into vehicles, and they do it very quickly. That video, I mean, in a matter of minutes, they got into quite a bit of cars at that time. So property crime is an issue, but we're not the only ones. Even the cameras at Ingram Park Mall, if you pull the stats for the mall, they still get car break-ins. Like, they still get auto thefts, they still get tire thefts there. So just having cameras doesn't necessarily deter crime.
Okay,
that's where I wanted to get to.
okay, go ahead.
Just because we have a
Oh,
camera.
I'm sorry.
Does not
Can
mean we're
Counselor,
gonna
can Counselor Campos ask you a question? I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
So Chief, since this is a 9-month view from January to September, and I don't mean this to be humorous or anything, but is there a season where you see an uptick, like for the holidays, like in November and December, and that's not here in these numbers?
Correct.
And so, I would guess that in October for Halloween, Thanksgiving, Hobby Lobby, in December, Hobby Lobby's even busier. So is H-E-B. And so the way I'm looking at this, well, we could see it, but this is only a 9-month view. But if we had the full 12 months, it may tell us a different picture. And the same thing with burglaries. I would imagine, but I don't know. And
You're correct. It is seasonal. And that's why we put out in the Lions Roar seasonal suggestions to do this, do that, turn on your lights at your house, have park in a lighted area, take your valuables out. We do all those things.
So
But
we shouldn't take comfort at the moment as we're looking at these that they're down because that peak period may not be reported here.
correct. And I'm certain with the government shutdown and people looking
People are
for
desperate,
food,
yeah,
I'm going to have more thefts at H-E-B.
sure.
I am expecting that.
And so when we give you because we do give you the annual report, it'll have a different snapshot because it'll be the annual report. The request was, the mayor saw the San Antonio Express News
right, it
article.
was down
And so
there.
we were trying to compare what they did to what we did. That's why it's a 9-month snapshot, because I only had till September when we started creating the report. And so if you want the full year, we can bring a presentation back after, because I give you all the annual report in January. But again, that's from it's still a year, but it's October through September. He submits to the state, and that's January through December. So they're different so the numbers are always slightly different because you're taking snapshots of different time periods.
Okay, go ahead.
And one final comment. Now, for larceny, it's going up, okay? However, is it my understanding that some, like convenience stores or maybe QT, have stopped reporting
That is correct.
So it could be much higher,
Yes, it could.
but they're just not reporting it anymore.
Yes.
Why is that?
So when
mean-
you file a case, you have to have a witness. Witness has to go to court.
Okay. It's
It
just too
takes
much
time.
trouble.
So if your employee, your store manager, your store clerk has to take time off from work, they're losing money.
I see.
So
Yeah,
if you're
okay,
losing
gotcha.
more money that way than you did in the theft, you forget about the theft.
Okay, very good. Counselor Mersch.
So I know, well, I shouldn't say it that way. I think that HEB does have security that rides around on the little moped thing or whatever it is, because I see them when I'm at the gym. So is there any documentation of whether that security guard driving around the parking lot has made a difference or an impact on reducing the break-ins or the car thefts?
They do have an impact. But just like police officers, if they're on one side of the parking lot, the thieves could be on the very other side and doing what they're gonna do.
So one guy driving around isn't going to
It's
see
not gonna
enough
be
to
enough.
make a difference.
Okay, all right. Okay, Chief, thank you. Continue, please.
So here's our breakdown in a graph form. In Leon Valley, violent crime versus property crime, again. So this slide
that was
is not
very
a direct
interesting.
comparison. That's not what I wanted
Okay,
to
tell us.
put into this slide.
Okay,
What I wanted you to see is this is what's happening in other cities. So our violent crimes went down and our property crimes went up. So look at Castle Hills.
oh, I know.
Look at their violent crime.
Wow.
So
What's going
would we
on
rather
there?
have that over our property crime going up? I'll take a higher property crime over violent
Sure,
crime any day.
yeah.
Because property is property.
Exactly, yes.
So Hollywood Park, same way, they lowered their violent crime, but their property crime went up. So that's what I wanted to show with this slide.
Okay,
It is not a city-to-city comparison.
sure. Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Counselor Mersch had another follow-up question.
So Chief, when the auto thefts shows up, but where do auto break-ins show up?
Under the larceny of theft.
Under the larceny and theft? So whether they break a window and steal the radio or the whatever, all that's in larceny and theft. So there's some that's still being reported, but like the shoplifting is probably the one that's really a false number because it's not being reported as readily.
So HEB reports most of their shoplifting,
They
most.
do, okay.
Whether they end up in court or not, that's kind of 50-50. I can't say they prosecute all of them because of the dollar value. They do want them arrested. They do want them cited. So we do catch and release. If it's under a certain threshold, we write a citation. Here, you're going to have to come to court. And then we release them. And usually they go do the same thing somewhere else.
And then just to note, cite and release number went up 2 years ago in San Antonio. So it used to be cite and release was under $500, now it's $750.
So
Oh, okay. Chief, these are all, I mean, you've noted that's at churches and parking lots and whatnot. What about the neighborhoods?
neighborhoods get hit as well. That is
Okay.
why we discussed it at CPAC,
Uh-huh.
and the chairman and one of the CPAC members assisted us with our program that we're testing to see if we have any impact in the neighborhoods. The windshield visors,
Oh, okay. What about Neighborhood Watch? We used to, have programs for that, and, I mean, I know.
still
maybe-
there.
Still
but-
there?
Except we as a police officer can't run it.
Yeah.
It has to be the neighborhood. The
But
neighborhood
if the
has-
neighborhood organizes
Yes.
and has a gathering, then you'll provide the officer
Yes.
to.
Well, we already
to-
have neighborhood
Yeah,
officers.
exactly. So we just need to promote it,
Yes,
is what
we
I'm
do.
saying. Okay.
And
Because
that
that's,
goes
I mean-
back to one of my slides in the back when I asked for your help.
Uh-huh. Okay,
one
well,
of the
we'll
things
try
we
to
need
do that.
help with.
Hey, we used to, I don't know where it is now, but it's down, but we used to have a sign years ago that said, Neighborhood Watch Community. Yeah, did y'all have that too? So, I mean, I don't know where it is now, it's gone, but, anyway, okay.
Had,
So we have
back
to
then you
promote it.
had residents that would really, walk the streets and report crime and all of that. We don't have that as much anymore. And then we tried a police academy. That's kind of where it went sideways, because and then they were kind of given a false impression of being a cadet of some sort. And so, that kind of went away as well. But we can start promoting and we do give information. We've asked like neighborhoods like Pavona Place, if you want our officers to go give a safety presentation in your neighborhood, we're more than happy to do that. Just tell us when and where. So that's stuff that we can consider.
'Cause they-
CPAC too.
Yeah, y'all
like,
have annual meetings and stuff,
yeah, but anytime, any neighborhood wants to get, the Ridge asked them out, not the Ridge,
So
Shadow Mist is really big.
really regular on calling us and say, hey, we want an update
Okay.
presentation.
All right.
And our neighborhood officer
So,
goes.
yeah, okay, so you have statistics on each one of the neighborhoods? I know you've got the neighborhood officers, so do you have statistics for each of those neighborhoods?
We can have the statistics.
Oh, you can.
Okay, all that takes time.
Okay.
And manpower.
Okay, gotcha. But I mean, as far as, burglaries and violent crimes and, okay, all right. Okay, yes, Counselor Heil.
What is cite and release?
You issue a citation and say, okay, you've been arrested, but you can go now, be in court on this date.
Okay, so then they just get to go do it again somewhere, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Yes, Counselor Campos.
And I know this was started by maybe an article that says San Antonio's
Crime
crime
was
is
down,
decreasing.
yeah.
But I was doing some research for this evening and found out that, well, San Antonio is so far out, so high, that their crime rate, violent crime rate, is higher than 95.2% of all cities, major cities.
Well, why
It's
is it
incredible. Well,
11.60 down?
they're comparing themselves, but if you compared it to the national average, they're so much higher. It's unbelievable.
Really?
And what's very interesting, it showed in our area, Almus Park, Balcones, Alamo Heights, and so forth. And Balcones Heights is through the roof. It's so, and we're nowhere near that. And so I'm very appreciative for what our officers do.
Okay,
I will pass that on.
okay. So, I think we're in why the increase in property crime. There we go.
So, why the increase? We do get spillover from San Antonio. We have some high volume traffic corridors. 410, Wurzbach, Hebner, Grissom, Eckert, and then Bandera and Evers. Lots of traffic. So just right outside Leon Valley, also have Callahan. So I used to work that area. Assistant Chief used to work that area as well. It's another highway. It's another highway to get away, because there's lots of different ways that you can disappear into the neighborhoods. All that matters. In addition to the vehicle highways, we have the pedestrian highways. Hebner Creek, right back here. The culvert by Miss Chasen's home. That, when I worked right on the other side of Leon Valley, that was a highway for criminals to run. So they're
It's
there.
a drainage ditch, basically,
Culvert,
right?
ma'am, it's a culvert.
Oh, okay, excuse me. I call it a drainage ditch, sorry.
So do I, but then
Okay.
people get after me.
Okay, I'm sorry. I guess it's not,
So there's vehicle theft and burglary trends all over the area. Organized retail crime. So some of our shoplifters work together and they put all their stolen goods together and they put it on Craigslist, on OfferUp, They sell it at street corners. We get hit left and right.
Wow,
And
okay.
they make their money. So the last thing here, reduce patrol availability. That matters. That in San Antonio, that's a big thing. They want to free up their officers to patrol because they don't get to patrol anymore. They're going from call to call to call. That's where we're going. We are heading in that direction. We can't have that. Our police officers need to be on the street patrolling the neighborhoods, patrolling the parking lots, patrolling the highways, and every corridor in and out of Leon Valley. So,
Now, that's a challenge to read, Chief. Come on.
so this, I want you to read the lower right-hand corner.
Okay, lower right-hand corner. You mean the HTTPS? Yeah.
That is the website where I report all of this information. That's where every city on this list reports their information.
Great.
So the information that is listed in the presentation,
Go there.
it's at that website.
Okay.
And you can play with it, check, compare month to month, year to year, department to department, city to city. That's where the true information is.
Okay.
Takeaways. Yes, we increased. We're still working. We need your help. We need your help putting out the word that call us when you need us. Call us when you see criminal activity. Call us when you see suspicious activity. We need to know these things. That is how we put out our officers. We deploy them here, there, this corner, that corner, target this location or that location.
You know, Chief, I'm constantly telling people thank you for calling because, you know, you're the eyes and ears of our community. I mean, we can't have a police officer on every corner, so we have to work together as a community, as a team. And, you know, so we just have to encourage it and have to keep educating that it makes a difference. So thank you for that. Yes, Counselor.
I have a
Hirsch.
question about suspicious activity and 911 versus the non-emergency number. If it's just suspicious, is that a non-emergency call?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So that is, if it's an emergency to you though, you should call 911. If it rises to that level in your eyes, because I don't want to prevent you from calling 911.
If I see somebody breaking in my house, I'm gonna call 911.
Please.
But if I see somebody who looks like they might be gonna break into somebody's house,
Then
that's a
it's
non-emergency
non-emergency.
call.
Yeah,
Yes, the
right.
might versus they are.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the other continued council support is when we submit for grants, I need some help. I need the permission to put in for grants. I need city dollars to continue funding my patrol officers, their cars, their equipment, the computers. I've got a long list for my boss, and she's probably going to blow up because it's millions and millions of dollars
I know.
that are coming. The radio, the property room. Today I asked for a new report system. So this is a continuing thing. It's not going to stop. Investigations are taking more time. Patrol officers are taking more time writing reports because there's more reports to write. When I saw my number for the annual report, which you'll get soon, it kind of shocked me when I did the math and the man hours.
Yes. I'm sorry. Counselor Campos.
So this is one of the items that 20 years ago, you didn't have that many reports.
Correct.
And you had less officers. But,
Correct.
and we've talked, and I've mentioned this from the dais multiple times, these unfunded mandates that are given to us by the state or from the federal government that said, okay, now we need a report on X. We need for you to do this. We've got a silver alert and it can't be just one officer handling it.
Right.
This is what's taking our resources.
Or you need to have more training.
Correct.
But they're not giving us dollars for the training.
Right.
Right? I mean, that's another example of an unfunded mandate, yeah.
And so that's the reason why we've got to have more officers. Some of it's in the back office. if
Yes,
you
sir.
will. Right.
So body worn cameras, great tool, except best practices is supervisors have to monitor what their officers are doing. So then they have to review body worn camera footage. So imagine sitting down watching 8 hours of body cam. So who's on the street while supervisor's doing that? So there's a lot of things that have changed over the last 20, 25 years, but you have to keep up.
Right.
Technology, big thing, big dollars, unfortunately. It's necessary, it's required, but it costs money. This council approved the grant application for Flock. We're going to be using it. I hope that helps us as much as I think it's going to. So,
So that's more of an investigative tool, right?
Yes,
The
it
flock
is.
cameras?
yes, it is.
Right, because you're going to review those and get a license plate and then hunt down the person that you think did the dastardly deed. Okay.
But it also gives us alerts on criminals that are passing through that are wanted by other jurisdictions.
Oh, okay. Are we one of the, how many cities have the flock cameras?
Oh, I was
Okay.
gonna tell y'all.
Uh-oh, I just read you.
Looked it up right before I came to the
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah,
San Antonio.
Okay.
Converse, Selma, Castle Hills, Live Oak, Universal City, Cibolo, Fair Oaks Ranch, and I know for sure Hondo has it.
I'm sorry?
Hondo, Texas,
Hondo,
out
okay.
90. I'm sure there's some other cities a little bit further north in Guadalupe, further east. I just looked up nearby, and there's quite a few. There's some cities that love them. There's other cities that want to get away from them.
Oh, really? Huh, that's interesting. So they've had them long, of course, we don't have them yet, so have you talked to their chief, please, to
But-
see if they've been effective?
I spoke with Universal City Chief at the chief school that I went to in July. They're adding more,
They're adding more,
and they have been very beneficial.
really? Okay.
The cities, if you Google it, the cities that aren't too happy with them have to do with kind of like our red light cameras. They believe they're unconstitutional. It doesn't have to do with their effectiveness. It just has to do with personal belief
Oh,
or
Their feelings.
their feelings. I don't know
Oh,
what to say.
okay.
So it doesn't have to do with whether or not they've been helpful tool. And we're a small city, and I can't hire 100 officers, so we're hoping that it'll be an effective tool. But I know
okay.
that there's some
interesting.
people that look at it from a constitution standpoint.
All right, yes, Counselor Heil.
Do you like the idea of neighborhood watch programs? Or
Yes, I do.
is that something you could discuss at some of the breakfast with the mayor or the CPAC meeting or something to get people involved so they have questions and
We
they
have.
could
We
talk
do,
about
many
it?
times.
We have.
Yes, but nobody listens, do they?
Well, I think it's to have the passion, right? So everybody wants these great ideas, but then nobody wants to volunteer for them. Nobody wants to go walk the streets at night or in the morning or whenever, right? And so we used to have a very active community that wanted to get out and walk and report things. And so we bring it up. We say they're important. If it's something you'd like to do, we'd be happy to provide you material, education, whatever it is that you need. But it has to be citizen driven. And so, like CPAC can organize and do like events at the park or something. We used to do the fingerprint for the kids. And so we can do those types of events, but where you're going to get the active approach in the communities, the ones that do it well are like Shadow Mist. They do it regularly. They participate. We have our officer go out there. I know Pavona Place has had them go out there. But it's the communities that don't really have HOAs, like Forest Oaks. You had very active members, and now that community is 50% rentals. And so you just don't have the people wanting to participate in doing that. So
Would the CPAC consider like just hosting a neighborhood watch meeting for the whole community and see who shows up?
We had that at one time,
Okay.
but one night they broke into a car and into the house, and the owner of the house was going to sue the gentleman that were doing the watch because he got his house broken into in a car on their watch, and apparently they had a very artistic lawyer where they found ways to be able to sue the people that were supposed to be watching the neighborhood. Yeah, so it got pretty sticky in there, so they all quit. Anyway, and I was gonna, but I would like to bring it back again. There's a way to protect the neighborhood watch, and I guess we got to put it as an ordinance that they would not be responsible, because they're a watch, they're not a prevention.
Correct.
And that's what was not in the language of it, you know, and
I would settle for citizens just calling us, looking out the window every now and then. If you see something suspicious, calling us. When you're driving home, pulling up in your driveway, you're gonna pass other houses and see things. Call us if you see something suspicious.
Okay, and also going to request, Chief, I know you're getting ready to end. Could you have Officer Casey make this report at the CPAC as well?
The same one?
Well, yes, because they haven't heard this one. They heard the other one that you had before that. But this is pretty interesting. I think they would enjoy this.
Okay.
If you could.
Oh, yes, okay.
Okay. On the last one, the neighborhood police officers, how does a citizen communicate with their police officer? There's not a phone number.
You click it.
You
It's
click
blue.
it and you'll get an email.
So when it's highlighted blue,
okay,
that's a
I
lead.
didn't-
So it's on the website, you click it. It's
On the
lead.
website, okay.
click your
Where is
neighborhood
it on the website, so I'll know?
Okay, so police, neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood, okay.
It's like 3 or
Right
4
there.
clicks.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
try to go through it, but I'll try to
I'll send
communicate
it to you.
I'll
I
try
have to be looking at my computer.
Yeah, but I wanted to communicate it out in my letter this Friday that people can, this is how you get a hold of your
So we
neighborhood.
put it in the last line drawer, it's on the e-news.
Okay,
It's already on the e-news, so.
okay. All right.
It touches the screen, it won't work.
No, it won't work on the touching the
Your
screen.
screen's not touchscreen.
Okay, so basically, if they just tap the name, it will go into an email, and they can send them an email.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Or they can call here to City Hall, ask Jennifer for their neighborhood officer, and she can look it up and give them the email
Okay.
or contact phone number.
Jennifer, okay, great, that's it. Yes, Counselor Marsh.
I know at our neighborhood watch, I got the card from our officer, and I added it to our neighborhood contact list. So it's he gave me his personal number.
Oh,
Or I
okay.
guess it was a number he was allowed to give, but, and so I put it on we have a sheet that we share with the neighbors about everybody's contact information. So that's where I put ours.
Okay,
The officer also has a phone extension to leave voice messages.
great. Yes,
The last
Counselor
officer we had
Roscoe.
assigned to Pavona Place, he actually created a Facebook thing for Pavona, and he is administrator of it. We're still active, and that was a great way that we communicated with our neighbors and stuff. And he was able to go into there and find out what's the talk in Pavona. So that's just another idea.
Okay, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Any other questions, either from our citizens? Yes, Mr. Yarnell, before we move on.
You mentioned the issue about radios. We have a situation coming up where, as I understand, San Antonio's changing and everybody's going to have to change. In a recent article in the newspaper regarding the situation that happened in Kerrville, it indicated that there was a problem with everybody responding to them with the radios that they had, like in San Antonio and they couldn't talk to each other. Turns out, as I understand what the article said, the county purchased radios of whatever system they wanted because the prices were going to go up after the first of the year, some $6,000 or something like that. Is it possible for all the cities in Texas to purchase radios through the TML? So we don't have, the
No.
company was, it
So,
was Motorola, and they
it's
were
Motorola,
pushing them
yeah.
to get it done before the end of the year. So in order to save this money, they went with this other contract, which did not cover all the areas that need to be covered. That was the
Okay.
issue.
Mayor, I can respond to that.
Yes, Dr.
So,
Caldera.
me and the mayor attended ACOG meeting. They came to give the pitch for everybody to be on the same radio system. We used to be on our own system because we had our own dispatch. When we made the radio switch, we're connected to everybody else. But there are some suburban cities that have refused to change over. That doesn't have anything to do with us. That's on them. But when we get ready, when San Antonio changes, we will be changing with them. Now, whether or not the county will help us fund it, which we're hoping they will, they did the last time. We're hoping they'll give us a little bit of money towards the radios. But when everybody changes, we're changing. But right now, nobody's changed yet.
Okay, that's a good answer, but that wasn't my question.
You can't purchase through TML.
You can't organize the
No.
cities of Texas to,
No.
so these companies can
Yes.
pressure us to purchase
Yes.
on a,
Yes. But we will go with the bigger, so they can't make everybody go on the same radio system. So you
oh,
will
you know,
have.
you do it, but you do it voluntarily. You get together.
Right.
I understand we purchase vehicles through Houston ACOG or whatever their
No,
thing is
There's
called over
by
there.
board and then
Yeah.
through the county,
Can
you
we
know,
do
they
something
have.
like that with radios?
Yeah, no, so, I mean, Chief can explain if he wants to. Go ahead, Chief.
So, we are already compliant, and we communicate with Bear County, we communicate with San Antonio. Our radio has mutual aid, and we can go to almost any channel out there. We're already there. That happened after the 9/11 attacks. Federal government said, hey, we have a problem with communication, everybody should go to this kind of radio. Most major cities and counties went to that. It's the smaller cities that didn't do that. When I started working here, we had other radios. The radio we have now is up to date, and it's capable of talking to people everywhere. The problem is every radio has a shelf life. Whether you use it, you don't use it, we're coming up on that deadline. That's why we're gonna need new radios, not because we can't communicate with people.
So my issue wasn't communication, it
So-
was the fact that the Motorola company was pressuring these people, in order to get this big discount, they had to make this purchase quickly, and they didn't have, they told it according to the radio, to the article, they didn't have time to do all the research and go out and see that there was another system. LCRA had another system that was already up and running, that covered a bigger area and was cheaper. But because they got this big discount. from
Yeah, so
Motorola-
we're not, unfortunately, I don't care what Kerrville is doing. Like, I care that we're compliant and that we're communicating. The other cities, we don't get pressure. I'm not pressured. They can come,
No,
like,
no.
The
I'm saying, can we group together and get a better price?
yes.
I see what
So
you're
that's
saying,
what we
yeah.
do with the county. Yes.
That's what we do. That's
Yeah.
why we have the radio we have now, because Bear
So we're
County
already
has
doing
it
it.
and San Antonio has it. So
Okay.
we piggybacked and got their discount.
Right.
Very good, thank you.
Okay. All right. Anything else for the good of the cause? Thank you so much, Chief. Very enlightening. And please call this police department if you see anything suspicious. That's what you told us to do, Chief. Okay. All right. Eyes and ears of the community. All right. Moving then to 3.3, presentation, discussion, and possible action on failure to appear for jury summons to include a potential fine. I know you gave us some stuff in the email, and I
So-
didn't print it out. I'm so sorry about that, but just basically, I think I brought it up at the last, and we put it on the, as an agenda item. Judge Morales called, as I think you all know, he did not get enough people to show up for jury duty, and did not sit well with him, and so he wants us to consider.
No, so I need to clarify something, because
Okay.
I asked the attorney, I think he called you more as a I don't know, more as a political thing, not to ask you for permission. There's something called separation of power. Y'all, as a legislative body, cannot dictate to the judicial body. The fine is already assessed by the Texas Local Government Code. It is his full authority to issue that fine. So there is no possible action this evening in regards to issuing that fine. And so I asked Art just to double check, because I don't want to be accused. And so Art's response is there is no action necessary from the city council in order to impose a fine. Government Code Section 62.111 allows for a fine of between 100 to 500 for failure to appear or falsely claim an exemption. At the end of the day, it's the judge's court and he can issue the show cause if he wants. But at the end of the day, people will be calling you, the mayor and the council, if they get fined. Additionally, if he intends to ask the council for permission to do this, I would advise that you should remain silent on the issue because it does violate the separation of powers doctrine. I think a possible solution would be to place on blast people's civic duty with the note that negative action could take place, but council should be careful to ensure they are not endorsing the action to the judge. I'm not aware of what sort of public education has been done on attending jury duty, but it seems that would be the first step before seeking a fine for citizens. So I just kind of wanted to make sure y'all were aware this evening of that. I did send y'all the...
Didn't say that to me at all.
And so, again, I wasn't part of y'all's conversation. I just, I did send y'all the numbers of the people failing to appear. And in my opinion, I don't think it's as big of an issue. It was 18 no-shows on 9/29. On 9/30, there was no court. 6/24, 7 no-shows. 3/25, 17 no-shows. The other big one was 3/24, which was the subsequent day. There was 31 no-shows. So, I mean, I guess sometimes it's an issue, but it's not always an issue. But again, it's not something that you have, it isn't with the judge's discretion to issue the fine or not. So I think he was calling maybe out of courtesy because of maybe some blowback you may get if that's something he started to do. But as the city attorney said, he's not, he shouldn't take action on this item. It's a...
So what I hear you say is that the judge is the one that's going to assess the fine no matter, and we stay out of it because that's that separation between the judicial and the elected.
Legislative branch, yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's fine. That's not what he had asked me to bring it up because he said there's a fine. He says, would you put it in the Lions Roar that people have to show up to the...
And
maybe
absolutely,
maybe that's that education that Art's talking about. That
Correct.
We need to put something in the Lions Roar about when you get a jury summons, it is important that
Yes.
you take it seriously and show up. That's your duty
Yes.
as a citizen.
And also in the emails that I attached early, with Tiffany's response, because I asked a bunch of questions, right? I didn't know. I mean, the judge asked you, and again, it was not a conversation that I had with the staff or Judge Morales. He went directly to you. And so I asked Tiffany, how many people haven't showed? What's the procedure to select jurors? Maybe we're doing something that we could improve on, but we do it through ENCODE. It's random selection through the system. So I laid out all of the process for you so you knew how that takes place. I had questions on, can we even make the decision, and so that was the Texas Local Government Code. So that's why I posed the question to the city attorney, because I was like, well, that's why you have separation. I mean, just basic government 101. That's why you have separation of power. But before I made that jump, I asked the city attorney so he could, and he agreed that you shouldn't do that. So I don't. Again, I wasn't on the phone conversation with you and Judge Morales. I don't know if he was just not asking.
I guess I wanted to ask Art, am I still able to put it in the Lions Roar
Yes.
and articles?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
gonna,
No. You can put it in.
get thrown in jail?
And as part of Tiffany's conversation, none of this is like reaching that level. I mean, I think it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but we're going to put it on the PEG channel. This is like Tiffany brought that up, the civic duty. You put in the article, please come out when you get the jury summons. It's
I
just
mean,
y'all
he-
don't
he
assess
was
the fine.
why else would he call me?
I don't know.
Because he was concerned that people weren't showing up. And it sounded like it was more than a one-time occurrence, you know
So
what
as
I'm saying?
part, so if you want to know my personal opinion, again, I haven't talked to Judge Morales. It's my personal opinion because in order to assess the fine, you have to have a hearing because you have to have them in contempt of court. And so that would raise the number of hours. We did cut the judge's hours this year. So I think, and that's my personal opinion, I think he probably is another way for him to charge the city. I mean, he would have to, for each contempt of court, he would have to have a hearing for it. That's part of the process. So that, again, that's my personal opinion. I don't know that
Didn't
to be
mention
true.
anything like that to me.
That's
so.
just part of the process, but I don't know another reason he would call you.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
I just
All right.
wanted y'all to know that before y'all started. Y'all may still want to have a conversation about it. I'm not stopping the conversation.
I don't think we can. Go ahead,
So
Counselor
did
Marsh.
I understand you to say that we could put some general terminology like there may be negative consequences, but not mention a
But
fine
you
or
can.
contempt
It's
or
part of the
whatever?
Texas, it's part of the
Okay.
Texas, I don't know if the judge will assess the fine, but you can put whatever's in the Texas Local Government Code. You could be issued a fine, you could be charged with contempt of court, you could put all of the consequences
So we
for
could
not-
even get
Yeah,
specific with
absolutely.
that Texas
Yes,
government
absolutely.
code?
We can put out whatever education, this agenda item was generated by the mayor because the judge called the mayor and explained to her that they were having people not show up for jury trial. And again, I just read the numbers to you, so the big one was the last one, which we only had 9 people show. But after reading the numbers, it doesn't seem to be a major problem every single time we have jury trial. It is, it could be a problem, or maybe it's a indicator that it's going to be a major problem. And so maybe education piece is the first step in that direction. But I wanted, before y'all started discussing and trying to take a vote on this item, to let you know you can't take a vote because it is a separation of power. And so I got the email from Art today at 5:09, so it wasn't something.
So could someone send me the summary of the fine? Is it 100 to 500, right?
I mean, I
Is
can
there-
send you, I can send you
Yeah,
the.
just so I
the-
can incorporate it into my
Sure,
my
absolutely.
article. Okay, yes, Counselor Campos.
I'd like to make a suggestion, Mayor, maybe it doesn't come from you in the article. Maybe it's in the Lions Roar, but maybe it comes from the court administrator.
That's fine.
Or from the judge.
Whatever y'all would like.
Doesn't matter, I mean, he
Rather
just,
than an elected official.
yeah.
Because these are the steps, these are the facts, and we're just, the Lions Roar is relaying that to the citizens.
Yeah, he requested that we, educate the citizens that there is a consequence if you don't show up. Announce it at the
Yeah.
city council meeting.
Absolutely.
Put it in the Lions Roar. But yeah, Tiffany, if you want to write that article, that's great.
Okay.
November
It should be on, you should be
17th
able
is
to,
the
just turn him
deadline.
up, make sure his volume's up.
Okay. Art, did you want to say something on this? No, it doesn't matter. The main thing is just it needs to get out, but that's fine. I see what you're saying. You think it, and that's great.
His volume,
That's
it
great.
should be
Just
on.
as long as we get the information out. That's what I told him we'd do. Yes, Counselor.
Well, I was just going to say that I think it's important to put the potential negative consequences because.
Okay, can you hear me
Now
now?
we can hear you. Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to provide clarity as to what it is that I'm advising and
Yeah.
and it's fine to do the education process,
Okay.
et cetera. What I didn't want y'all to step into was actually giving direction to the judge
Oh,
to
okay.
begin doing this or suggesting that he take that step. That is his court to run in the manner in which he sees fit. But doing any education process, including the fine amounts of up to $500 or between $100 and $500 is perfectly fine for y'all to do.
Okay. No, anyway, I won't go into it. That's okay. Yeah. He ran over, oh, there you are. He ran over, we see you now on Zoom. Yeah, he was just saying he can assess a $100 fine or up $100 fine or up. So anyway, okay, we'll do it that way then. I think that's a good guidance. Anything else for the good of the, yes, go ahead.
Well, just to finish my thought, the whole thing about how important it is to report to jury duty and your civic duty and all that appeals to some people, but other people need to have the consequences listed because they don't really get moved by the civic responsibility and that type of thing. And very honestly, I will bet you that there's a lot of citizens in Leon Valley that didn't even know that we have a court that needs jurors. I mean, this is the first I've ever heard, and I've lived here 40 years. So, I think it's not a well-known fact, and so I definitely think there's benefit to the education.
Okay, very good. I mean, I've lived here and I've known about it, and I'm like, why haven't they called me? I mean, I want to be on a jury. Anyway, all right. Anyone else? All right, thank you, Art, and thank you for the comments and the direction for the council. All right, moving then to announcements by the mayor and the council. What's the time here? 7:50. Okay, again, I wanted to thank the PAC 405 today for coming to meet with me before the city council meeting. They really are just precious angels that are going to be our future leaders, and I really appreciate the time that they took out to learn about city government and the importance of getting involved and voting and whatnot. Today, Councilor Mersch and I and Roque Salinas, our Economic Development Director, attended a grand opening for Sanitas Medical Center, which is in the same shopping center as Wing Daddy's. It's huge. It's what, 8,000 square feet or something? But what's so different about this medical center is that they treat the whole person. It's not just their ailment, but also their behavioral management. They have everything in-house from blood work to ultrasound to x-rays. So when you go there, and they've got one provider, that's United Healthcare. That's the provider, so it's simple and anyway, I was really impressed, and they had their CEO from Spain that was there today. I mean, and they had people from Miami and California. I mean, this is a big outfit, and we are one of 9 medical centers that are opening on January 2nd, 2026. 8 more most of them in the suburban cities, and then the city of San Antonio. So anyway, welcome. And we told them about the senior citizens. They could go over there and talk to them. And well, I'll try to put something in my newsletter as well. But what else would you say, Ms. Mersch, because you're in the medical field?
I would just mention that they are focused on the population that's served by the Affordable Care Act. So they're not looking for Medicare or Medicaid patients, but they are looking for families, although they realize most children might be covered under Medicaid. But it's that family that doesn't have insurance coverage through their employer, and they go out on the open market and find it. But this is a United Healthcare plan that was developed specifically for Sanitas. So it's very customized to what they need, but they will have a psychologist there on site so that they can refer some early mental health issues to them. But they're considering the Leon Valley facility their flagship facility here in San Antonio.
We're the largest. It will be the largest in the county. I just want to remind people that the Historical Society has their annual Blue Jean Gala this Friday at the Community Center from 6:30 to 10:30, and it's $40 if you're a member, $45 non-member, but they have a beef and chicken fajita dinner and, raffle and music and all that. So you can go online to get your tickets if you'd like to support that effort. And next Wednesday, November the 12th at 6 p.m., I got a message from Senator Menendez. He's holding a town hall legislative update at 6 p.m. at a facility on Rivas, and I don't have that address, but I know I sent it to Dr. Caldera, and Crystal Miranda will put it in the e-news. So if y'all would like to go, and he had invited everybody to attend. And a shout out to honor our veterans. That's going to be next Tuesday, Veterans Day. And I have the honor and privilege of attending the annual Leon Valley Elementary celebration in honor of the veterans, and they do a really great job. And City Hall will be closed that day as well. So our next council meeting is November 18th. So that's all I have. So I know other people have something that they'd like to say as well. Councilor Campos.
Mayor, I just wanted to highlight for citizens that some of the council members did attend a municipal league conference last week in Fort Worth. There was a lot of relevant topics that were discussed, along with opportunities to network and find common issues that we have with other cities. The other thing that I'd like to do, and I know I do this probably every time I speak, but I just want to highlight some of the things that our city staff does that's behind the scenes, that doesn't get much attention, but it's really important. They've come up with plans to replace sewer mains on Forest Brook, Forest Ridge, Forest Mill, and Forest Knoll which is about 2,700 linear feet of sewer line. They've also laid quite a bit of asphalt in Raymond Brinkus Park, Stirrup Lane, Cades Cove, and Stebbins. We've got 2 contracts that we are awarding for water mains, and I want to just take a moment to thank the Public Works for applying for all the grants and getting all the grant dollars that we've gotten, because we're making some really good headway in our water and sewer system. And we don't ever talk about this, but it's our city secretary. She had to handle 38 open records requests. And if you think, well, that's pretty automatic. Well, I'll tell you, when I worked at SAWS, that function reported to me, and it's a very complex issue. And so wanted to recognize her. Also from the fire department, as just a reminder, please keep your trees 14 feet above the roadway. And then lastly, the library has a lot of great programming for November, but 2 in particular I want to call out. It's on November the 15th at 11:30, they're going to have a Medicare Navigator for our citizens. And then on the 18th, which is a Tuesday at 5:30, they're going to have a Social Security seminar. Very important topics for our citizens. And then lastly, they're going to have the Big Rig Petting Zoo on Tuesday, the 25th at 9:30 a.m. So those.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? Yes, Counselor Heil.
I'd like to thank the EMS for showing up so quickly when I called 911 Saturday morning. They got there quickly, they were very friendly, they knew what they're doing, and they took care of me, so thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Yes, Counselor Orozco.
Thank you, Mayor. Veterans Day is coming up, and I always, I guess you guys know my passion about veterans, and I always felt that Veterans Day should be in conjunction with Memorial Day. But thank you, veterans, for putting your name on the line and wanting to defend the American way of life. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. All right. All right. If there's no other announcements, we'll move to the city manager's report. Dr. Caldera.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Your city manager's report was sent to you this afternoon. There's copies outside, and it is available online. I do want to highlight a couple of things that didn't make it into the report. I was hoping the lady would be here this evening, but the tree trimming that she came to the last 2 meetings along Forestel.
Barbara.
Yes. We sent out 8 letters. 3 have come into compliance. 3 have cut, but we haven't measured yet, and 2 have not come into compliance. As far as the city property, it's been mowed. We've trimmed the trees, but we haven't mulched the trees yet, so we just need to go out there and mulch.
Great.
So that's the update on that complaint. There was a couple of requests from council members and to talk about dead trees and the ones that can impact public right-of-way. Melinda and the guys are going to try to get a survey of them, but it's gonna be conducted after the holiday decorating holiday season gets done. And then lastly, the council did include a Veterans Park monument in their capital projects this year. It went to the Park Commission. They were unable to establish a quorum, so Melinda's going to try to take it back one more time. Once we get a recommendation from the Park Commission, then we will bring that recommendation for council to make a decision, and then we'll get started on that capital project. So just kind of giving you an update on that.
Good.
That concludes my city manager's report.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, consent agenda 6.1 to 6.4. Any members of the body would like to remove any one of those for discussion? If not, may I have a motion and a
I'd
second?
like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay.
Second.
All right. We have a motion by Councilor Campos and a second by Councilor Orozco to approve consent agenda 6.1 through 6.4 as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The motion does carry. Then moving down on to the regular agenda, 7.1. I just want to make a note that this is a first read as required by our city charter, so we will not vote on this tonight, but we will take action at the next meeting. Presentation and discussion of an amendment to ordinance number 2024-13, a request for a 1-year extension to the Planned Development District, PDD, with R2 two-family dwelling district-based zoning, located at 7680 Hebner Road, being a 0.853 acre tract of land, Lot 8, CB 4445L, Hebner Silos subdivision. And we have Michael Gallardo, our new Planning and Zoning Director. Welcome. I think this is your first
First rodeo.
presentation. Okay, we won't bite. Go ahead. No, I'm just teasing. Anyway, welcome and thank you.
So, council's been asked to approve a one-year extension for a PDD that's set to expire in April of 2026. So the development includes seven two-story structures that are going to be a total of about 14 units, will be precisely 14 units. So something to consider is that the property has been platted, it conforms to all stormwater regulations, and currently the developer does hold a site work permit. Another fact is that the layout for the dwellings are going to be 3 bedrooms and 2.5 baths. I'm sure that you guys recall this project. It's commonly referred to as a silos. So this is the property in question. Next is an aerial view. You're going to see basically that's fronting Hebner Road. So one of the variances that was requested during the zoning change was that this property is going to be allowed to build 7 structures on 1 lot. So that was a variance that was granted. Outside of that, all the zoning requirements have been met. Fiscal impact is that this project is going to generate some ad valorem revenue for the city. And then in short, the staff does recommend the year extension for the project.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'd
Are there-
also like to say that the applicant is here in case
Okay,
there's additional
wonderful,
questions.
thank you. And would you please come up and introduce yourself? And I know we've met you several years ago, as I remember. Yes, good evening. And what is your name?
Yeah, my name is R.C. Bandaru. I go by R.C. Those are my initials. Last name is Bandaru. Yeah, we
Asti?
supposed to start this project, but because of the financial issues and all, it's got delayed. Now we secured the funds. We got the site work permit to do that. We are in the process of breaking the ground, but we want to have that 1-year extension so that we don't lose our loan and all before we are going for the loan. We don't want to have that.
Okay, all
contingency.
right. And so you're going to be starting it fairly soon, okay. And would you remind me, are these for sale? Or are these rentals?
This is for sale.
For sale, okay. I just couldn't, okay, very good. Thank you. It's been a while since we looked at your, all right, very good. Any other questions for Asti? Is that right? Ozzy. RC. RC. I'm hearing something totally
Like
different.
RC Cola.
RC Cola. You should have said that first, then I would have known. I'm sorry. RC. I'll always remember that now. Okay. Yes, sir. Councilor Orozco.
I know that we went through this in length
Yes.
last time, and you're not changing anything.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good for the silos, and if I can recommend that we put it on the consent agenda.
Okay. Any other? Yes. Councilor Mersch.
I second the motion to put it on the consent agenda.
Okay. All right, well, it's actually not a motion, it's just a consensus. So, okay, we'll put that in the, all right. So, RC, this means that on November 18th, your application for a 1-year extension will be approved then through the consent agenda. That's usually
Thank you.
what we do, unless something comes up, but that's usually what happens. Okay, thank you, RC, we do appreciate it, and thanks for your patience for waiting. Do appreciate it. All right, moving to 7.2, presentation discussion of an ordinance amending the Leon Valley Code of Ordinances, Chapter 6, Health and Sanitation, Article 6.02, Food and Food Establishments, to update code references, remove redundant sections, and renumber sections. And again, this is our first read, won't take a vote, but Melinda, I understand this is a housekeeping item.
Yes, ma'am. The last time that the health code was updated was in 1996.
Oh, wow.
And they adopted the 1986 code, or 1993 and 86. So it's been a while. Yeah, so there you go. It updates the code to adopt the 2021 state law, deletes the redundant sections that are already in the state law, eliminates, there was this weird requirement in there that any food establishment had to pick up their copy of the health license requirements from the planning and zoning office. We have never issued a book out of that office on the health code, so took that out. And they had to buy it from us too. You can get it online free. And then, of course, renumbered it just because that needed to be done. Has no fiscal impact. We're not changing any fees. We're not doing any updates to the appendix of fees.
Okay.
That's about
Very
it.
good. All right, so go ahead.
Will this affect, just, will this have any effect on current food establishments, or they won't even care or know about it?
They won't care. The current health inspector, Steve, he's already using these.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Well, did y'all look at the 600 pages or whatever? I got it, I mean, it's like that, yeah. It was printed out for me. Oh, my gosh. It's a lot of, and so I'm glad that we have a health inspector that knows it in and out. So thank you to him. Okay,
Yeah,
so Councilor
I was gonna
Roscoe.
say that, I didn't go through the 700 pages.
No.
There's no way. There's only
it's going to be a
only
test
600.
on Monday.
But anyway, the changes, as I understand it, are from state law, and that's only changes that being, I'd like to request that we go into consent agenda.
Okay, very good.
I agree.
Okay, and there's consensus for that as well on the 18th. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Then moving then to 7.3, presentation and discussion of an ordinance amending the Leon Valley Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, Article A, 14.000 to delete pro rata fees and reserve the section for future use. Again, this is a first read, and we will not vote on it, but we'll decide where to place it on the November 18th agenda. So we have Melinda Moritz, our Public Works Director, to continue. Thank you.
So when I was doing the health code, I just sort of started going down the rabbit hole of the rest of the code.
Uh-oh.
And I noticed this was still in here too, and it's another housekeeping item. Last time we did a pro rata fee was back in 1991. So they were first established then, and it was to set some fees for persons wishing to connect to water and sewer mains in certain areas of the city. So the mains were constructed by the city, and the fees were posed to cover the cost of the connections. One of the examples that I have, I probably have it in here, but there was a gentleman in Monte Robles Park whose well went out, and he wanted the city to construct a water main to his property so that he could connect to the city's service. Well, in doing that, Pat Wright, our previous city engineer, went ahead and had the water main go 3 or 4 properties. And so he was thinking at some point in the future someone else would connect. So he charged that one person a pro rata share of that water main.
Okay.
No one's connected since 1991.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
The other thing to realize is that now all of those 1987, 88, 89, all those lines are now over 30 years old. And so you're going to have to replace them pretty soon. It would be, you couldn't make somebody pay top price to connect to an old line.
I gotcha, yeah.
And these are them. There's Countess Adria Sewer. There was 2 houses at the end of, I think Adair is the one that goes in that. So it was an easement right behind there because 2 people wanted to connect there. I think one did. There was an Althea extension down inside Loop 410. Where it says fire line protection, it really means a water main. It's not, I mean, we put in fire hydrants, but it was really to connect the guy to the house. And on down the line. So right now where we have it is all people that connect pay water or sewer impact fees. The city charges just our actual costs for actually digging up ground and connecting service lines. We don't charge an impact fee for sewer. That goes to the SAWS people because they're the ones who transport and treat our sewer. The pro rata fees are still legal, but normally if you were going to do that kind of thing, you would have an agreement with the developer in writing that that's what they were going to do. And it's mainly for larger subdivisions where somebody wants a main brought to that subdivision to service some people. We've never had an agreement with a developer for these lines.
Really? Not
And it
even,
should've-
not even the developers that are currently building? Really?
They build their own.
They build their own, okay. So we're out of it, okay.
We're out of it.
I
And
gotcha.
the agreements should have been limited to a certain number of years. Like I said, now those lines are 30 and 40 years old. we should have had an agreement with a developer that said, we're going to continue to collect for 10 years.
Okay.
Or 15 years, something to where the line's not obsolete.
Okay.
And then, like I said, the
Yeah.
subdividers do their own, we don't do it, and we make them pay impact fees. So it's just housekeeping, there's no monetary problem with it.
Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Campos. What would you like to say?
So, I read the presentation and the information, and it brought something to mind. And we're putting in a new sewer line that's grant funded, right, from the county along Locker Lane. Okay, and on Locker Lane, these residents have septic systems.
Right.
Okay, so this could potentially help them. And so what I was asking, well, what is that impact fee for them? And I got back, it's a pretty high number.
It's a
It's over
chunk.
$11,000.
It's $7,900 typically for a residential house, they can go up from there. They'll have to go onto the SAWS website and do their calculation sheet.
And do we have anything that we, as the city, could help these residents pay it over time? I don't know. I'm looking for solutions, because I don't know that any of those residents are going to say, wow, we've waited so long, but you're going to sock me with this big fee. I just don't know that they'll be able to pay it.
Well, if they were to fix their septics, that would cost them $10,000 and more. So $7,000 over here, $10,000 over here. What you're paying for with that sewer impact fee with SAWS, not only is the transportation, but they also have to treat it. So all the impact fees that go to them, and you probably know this, you work there, goes towards building new facilities when their capacity gets overcrowded. And so it goes into their specific impact fee fund, and then it's used to build new facilities as more people come on their line.
Is I would assume they're water customers, or are they SAWS customers?
SAWS.
Okay, so I don't know how we would, at SAWS, I know that when there was a connection issue, I used to sign hardship agreements, and the resident would be able to pay it over time, but it was added to their bill.
Yeah.
And so I was looking to see if there was a way that we could accommodate these residents on Locker Lane, but
We wouldn't be able to add it to their bill because they're billed through SAWS, number one. But number two, things get lost over time. So we had street assessments out in Linkwood because we built the streets in Linkwood. We also put in the water and sewer mains out there. And we had those people pay over time. And over time, now I don't even think they can find the boxes that those agreements are in. They come up once in a blue moon because someone filed a lien down at Bear County. The mayor and I had to track one down a couple of years ago
We
to
sure
find
did.
out how this lady could sell her house. And so you don't have, because you the small staff that you have and everything, it's not automated as well as we could be, I think it would be very difficult to keep track of those contracts. I did leave that section in the code as reserved, so if you wanted to try something like that, we could certainly look into it and then put it back in that section of code, and it would be just like one of these. Here. Something to think about.
And I do think eventually those septic tanks are going to have to be replaced. They have a life expectancy. So the homeowner of those properties are going to have to make you know that when you purchase a home or have that type of home. So I think if they've prepared as much as they could prepare for that home, it's going to be cheaper for them to tie into the sewer main, like I do. But again, it's kind of one of those things. I think if we have, residents come and complain, we can assess. But I think for right now, it's kind of just wait and see. I mean, we're making an assumption that people on Locker Lane can't afford to come onto the sewer main. We don't know that. They could be waiting to replace their septic because they're trying to get onto the sewer. I don't know.
Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
by chance, have they been notified that we are going to be putting a sewer line through there?
Oh, definitely. There's 10 houses over there, and I sent out right of entry forms to them because we needed to go in and to their backyards. And so 6 of those people contacted us back, immediately sent in right of entry, immediately started calling and, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. And so I told them, I said, you will be required to pay SAWS impact fees, and it could be between $7,000 and $10,000. I just don't know.
Good.
And what was their reaction?
Oh.
Because that.
Okay, I was just checking.
When I walked that neighborhood, that was the number one topic for those residents.
Oh, yeah, that's been their number one topic for years. Yeah, it has been. Okay.
But it didn't deter them.
No, that's right. Okay, anyone else? All right, so what's the pleasure of, yes, number 3, the consent for the 18th? Is that what I'm understanding? Okay, very good, great, thank you. All right, thank you so much, Melinda, really appreciate it. All right, we'll move then to Agenda 7.4, presentation and discussion on an ordinance authorizing a budget adjustment to the general fund budget for fiscal year 24-25 to fund Earthwise Committee event. And again, this is our first read, and so we will not take a vote, but we'll decide what we want to do for the 18th, November 18th meeting. And we have Crystal Miranda. Are you going to present?
Yes, so I had to change your last slides because I got a question from a council member, and so I changed her last slide so she doesn't know the changes that I made. But I also need to make a correction to the agenda posting that you see in front of you. It says 24-25, it should say 25-26.
Uh-oh.
And so
That's
we
right.
will make the adjustment for the next council meeting and make sure that the correction is made.
But we can still hear it?
Yes, you can still
Okay,
hear it this evening.
Very good.
Um,
All right.
So the Earthwise Living Committee is requesting a budget adjustment of $4788 to consider funding supplies and merchandise for the next event. The committee collected $5,800 in sponsorships. The expenses on behalf of the committee were about $6,200, and the committee is requesting the budget adjustment for this coming year's event. The city did budget $2,700. The city council last year approved a rollover of $2,500. We called it a rollover, but it was actually a budget adjustment. The committee normally solicits sponsorships and rents booths to contribute to the budget and promotional items that they have for the event. And so this is, I know it's hard to read, but so the summary of actual cost, and this is where I wanted to make sure it was clear so everybody kind of understood. So if you look at the very bottom here for 2025, it shows $8,000. But if you don't include, and this includes the facility rental, some of y'all believe the facility rental should be included in that amount, that $5,001, and some of y'all believe it should not be included in that amount. And so without the facility rental, it's $2,900, a negative $2,945. And so it's just, that was the personnel expenses, the police and fire. What I did for this upcoming year is I included the staff overtime as part of the budget. So you'll see it over here, budget. So this $6,500 and this $6,500 is a wash. Mm-hmm. But that's not how it had been calculated in the past. And so, I wanted to make sure that the slides reflected what that is. And so if you take a look at the fiscal impact, and again, I didn't include the facility rental here, but if you take a look at next year's fiscal year, if you do the adjustment of $4788, which is what Earthwise is requesting, the city already budgeted $2,700 to go towards the event, and the city budgeted $6,500 for the overtime. Tiger Sanitation is going to give the $2,500, and then depending on if you get the same amount of sponsorships, and you can do that calculation. And then whatever expenses Earthwise Living decides to spend their funds on. But right now you're sitting at a positive $9,988 if you do the budget adjustment for $4,700. And so they do. I do want to highlight that. They do go out to get sponsorships. They have, RBFCU, SAWS, VIA, Tigers, their biggest contributor, but that's part of their contract. San Antonio River Authority, HEB. Senator Menendez gave $250 this past year. And then how much we charged the vendors was $720. So they do work really hard in getting these dollar amounts. The staff helps by reaching out to some of the vendors as well, or the vendors and sponsors to help offset some of the city cost.
Okay. Yes, Councilor Campos.
So, in my opinion, this is a citywide event, and I'm not sure about allocating any of the non-operating. But as I reviewed the budget for this, I found out, okay, what's happening is that we give a certain amount. So let's take last year. We gave them a certain amount for their initial budget, and they went out to solicit for sponsorships and other vendors. they did such a good job that there was $5,000 more than what they had anticipated. And what we did is we cut it in half. Okay, well, this year, now that I understand that, they have a surplus of 4788, is that what the
Right.
number is?
Well, so that becomes the question of whether or not they have a surplus. In all reality, they were negative $2,900 with minus the facility.
Well,
Because it went, and if you're not gonna count the staff. I mean, if you're not gonna count the staff, this year I budgeted for the staff, so it shouldn't be a problem for next year. And so the dollars that they gained in sponsorship, because I keep hearing that this event is a wash or they gained money. Technically, they didn't make any money on this event because there were other additional costs that weren't accounted for. Now we're accounting for them, so I would venture to guess that next year they probably will have a surplus because we budgeted the correct amount for overtime.
well, I think that if we take money away, it defeats the incentive to go get more vendors. You know, if you're working that hard to generate this money and you take it away, well, then why do I want to do it? I think it's been an event for, what, 31 years now?
This will be the 36th annual.
36th year.
Right.
I'd like to encourage my colleagues to let this budget adjustment, as we're calling it, for 4788, move forward to the next year. Hopefully, they'll even generate more money for the next. But it's used to buy the things they need for their Earthwise event.
Right, like their bags, their promotional stuff, the
And-
breakfast.
You know, this is really one of the last events that we have.
Yes, we have
Just
this
this
and the-
one
and the
and
tree-
the,
and
I
the
mean,
tree
we
lighting.
got, you know, come on, guys. This is a beautiful event, and of course, I'm prejudiced because, you know, I've been at it for 36 years, but
Yeah, and-
I understand that. So I'm not going to say anything more, but just.
No, I want to make it clear, I'm not trying, again, because I think sometimes the Earthwise Living takes my accounting and thinks I'm trying to get rid of the event or overinflate things. I'm really not trying to do that. I just want to make sure we understand what we're actually paying for. I want to just make sure the accounting is done correctly. I'm not trying to overinflate the cost of this event.
I understand that, but Crystal, you got to realize that it never was reported like this.
Sure.
And so this is always a big change, and we're like, whoa, wait a
Oh,
minute,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
This
no.
is a city event, you know?
I love
that
this
kind of
event.
thing.
I think
So,
it's a
yeah.
great event. I think it goes towards our stormwater. I think it goes towards a lot of things
Yeah.
we do. Believe me, I'm not, big advocate of Earthwise.
And the other good thing is, I mean, I know we're not having the July 4th, 250th anniversary this year or next year, but we did talk in our committee meeting that we will now transition to some of those sponsors for July 4th and see if they'd like to support Earthwise. So I think we are optimistic that we'll be able to get more money and then eventually, you know,
Yeah.
give some of it, see where we're at
Yeah,
next year.
absolutely.
So thank you, Counselor Campos, for your support. Really appreciate it. All right, so what's the pleasure? Any other questions, comment? Yes, Counselor, former Counselor Yarnell, how are you? And welcome back.
Good, thank you. So this is a city committee, Earthwise
Yes,
Living?
definitely.
Okay. And they hold it where?
Have you never been?
Oh, yes.
Commi-
I'm asking
com-
the question.
Community,
Just for purpose, yeah.
community center,
They hold it where?
at the community center,
Who owns that?
the city.
So why are we charging them a facility fee?
I didn't, I took it out.
Yeah,
Well, one of the, okay,
Yeah.
it's been taken.
Yeah.
Yes, because somebody asked me how much
Yeah.
do we
Okay.
use in rentals that day. It is March, right,
Yeah.
it is
Okay.
March, it is a high utilized month, and so we typically do
Yeah.
rent out for that weekend.
Because we have a CPAC committee, we meet here.
yeah.
We don't get charged for the
We
facility.
also don't rent this out, and we don't generate.
Oh, that's the
revenue.
difference?
That is the difference.
Okay.
They were just itemizing it.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Yarnell.
didn't include that in the calculation, as you can see there in the
Yeah.
final fiscal impact. I showed it because that was a request. That's why I did 2 slides. I said actual cost, right, facility rental, minus the facility, and then in the total impact, it's not in there.
Well, I wear glasses for a reason, because I can't see.
Well, and that's really small, I know, it's, when y'all get it on, as a PDF form, you can click the plus button and make it bigger.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Counselor Orozco.
Doctor, could help me understand this? How can I put this? They made money on the money that we gave them, but we never got any money back. what it reminds me of, and this is the only example that I can possibly get. We went to Reno, and this guy ran out of money, and I gave him $200. He won 5,000, but I never got nothing back. Now, we lent them money to do something, and they made money, and we got nothing back. Whatever happened to that money?
So all you're doing is rolling it over. So again, so it's just a matter of, you see this as a city event, right? Just like 4th of July or any other event. And so you're funding the event. Earthwise had taken the position in the past that this event was a wash, that they generate enough money to support this event. We have determined that is not true. They don't make enough money to support the event, but it is a city event. So I'm not saying we shouldn't fund the event or we shouldn't help them fund the event. It's a well-attended event. It's a community event. And so that's all I'm saying is that they're not giving us any money back. They're generating money, and they want to use our money and their money to continue this event. And that's fine. That's.
But they were able to function with a certain amount. Now we raising up the money to $6,000, yet they were able to function with the money that we gave them, which is about $2,500 for the budget and $5,000. And I also have another question. All this money that's coming in from the vendors, who addresses this with the vendors? Does the committee or does Crystal do it?
It just depends. So one year she did the majority of it. Some years it's the committee members that get the vendors in. I mean, she can speak a little bit more to that.
And then what you see the increase is because they actually doubled the fees for the last time. And so that impacts and double, triple how much vendor fees they were able to obtain or gain. So.
Okay. No, and don't misunderstand me. I like this function. I go to it. I think I only miss it once. I just think that we're being nickel and dime to death on this one. And if they justify the money this is the first time I see this itemized one. If they justify the money, say we're going to give them, then that's okay. I just think if there's money that goes over, it should come back to the city and not to the committee.
Okay, Councilor Marsh.
I think the big change here, and you can't tell it from this, is that in the past, the overtime of the staff to prepare the conference center, to put up the booths, to clean up afterwards, all that was never itemized. And so that's where and there was no facility fee, but it was mostly the overtime of the staff that was never quantitated or reported to the Earthwise Living Committee. So that's why we felt that what we brought in was covering our expenses. And it was for what we knew our expenses were. But then in an effort to be more detailed, we are now getting an accounting of exactly how much overtime for the staff is needed to support this event. And so that really kind of completely threw our accounting, because we've used these staff hours all the time, but we were never charged or accounted for these staff hours. So this whole thing about we made money, we gave money back and all that, the rules of the game have changed here. And so I'm fine with accounting for all this, but it's going to be impossible to say this is what happened before and this is what's happening now, because we're changing the way we report it to detail all these overtime hours and the facility fee, and then now the facility fee's gone. So before, we all felt like it was a city event, we're using city people, okay, fine, whatever. So I think the rules have changed here, and it's not good or bad, it just makes it very confusing as you try to look at what happened in years past and what's happening now.
And I get that, and thank you, Counselor, it's very well said. The money said we're giving extra, it's not only for them, but for the overtime and stuff.
No, so you budgeted this year $2,700 for the event, and you budgeted an additional $6,500 for overtime. So the total cost of that event, if you add the $6,500 to the 27, somebody's gonna have to help me, my brain's not working. That's the total amount the city has budgeted for this event. And so they're asking for a budget adjustment of $4,700, because that $6,500 isn't gonna go towards anything other than overtime. And so they're asking for, because things have gone up. We used to budget $3,000 for this event, and it would cover the bags and stuff like that. I can't get bags for that anymore. I see why they're asking for the request. It's expensive to buy the stuff we give out at the event.
I'd also like to, and thank you, Counselor Mersch, for that explanation, because that was exactly but the other thing is that we never, ever had to pay for trees. And then we started having to pay for trees, $1,800. We never had to pay for that.
We'd
Or
always
if we-
pay for
But we never, but again, we didn't know. I mean,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
And,
No,
and
it
again,
was-
that's
yeah.
not y'all's fault. I'm not
No,
blaming
and
y'all.
but we're
Yeah.
like, what?
Yes.
We just thought it was, I don't know, CPS Energy was paying for all this, because they give away the trees. I mean, I mean, that's what I thought. So, anyway, did you want to say something else? And then Counselor
Just real
Campos.
quick, I apologize for saying more, but I think it's not just the giveaways, which are a big reason a lot of people
Yeah.
come to this event, is to get their grocery bag or their shopping bag or whatever, but also for the advertisements. So those big banners that go across the streets to tell people that Earthwise Living Day is going on,
Well, here.
that brings
Yeah.
people here, are not free either. And so that's another example of the types of expenses that we're incurring.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Campos.
That's what, I was going to just go there and say, these things are going up, and they're not getting any cheaper. And then what's going to happen is, eventually, if we don't increase the monies allocated, because we've been allocating $2,500, $2,700, is that what?
Yeah,
it
so
was?
y'all used to allocate, for a long time, it was like $3,000 for the
But then it
event.
was reduced to 2,700
Then
a
it was
while
re-
back. I
Yeah,
don't know when.
remember why.
Yeah.
But again, like, so somebody asked me sponsor versus budgeted. So last year, y'all did a budget adjustment of 2,500, and the city budgeted 2,700, that's 5,200. If you take a look at the sponsors, they generated 5,850 from the sponsorships. So if you want to talk about what was actually remaining over, if you're just looking at that, it's really $650. But again, it's one of those events that the cost of the merchandise have gone up, the cost of just doing business has gone up, and we budgeted appropriately for overtime. I will venture to guess, again, when they do the calculations for next year, they'll probably show a surplus, right? They'll probably have increased vendors and sponsorships for next year. And it would it's not going to show it paid back the city, but it'll show probably a surplus at the end because we budgeted the 6,500 in overtime, where we weren't doing that before. And again, it's not me taking a dig at Earthwise. I know some people get very passionate about how it was done before and the way I'm doing it now. I just think that as I've taken a deep dive and given y'all detailed budget, I'm trying to put all the dollars in the right bucket is all I'm trying to do. And so that, I'm in support of the
Can I
event.
just add that this is the most positive, 4th of July was positive, but this is a very positive event for our city.
Well, it
I
has
mean,
an impact, right? And
Because
so-
we were the first city back in 1989 to begin curbside recycling, and out of that came this event 36 years ago. And so, people, we
have
get
regulars. I mean,
and people say, we just love this. And we've gone to, Councilor Mersch and I went to Solar Fest, and we went, boy, that's small, it's not like, ours is much better. Excuse me, but that was just our assessment. Even though we want to get some of those vendors. So,
And I think
yeah, go ahead.
if we do start limiting this, these committee members work hard to raise this money.
We sure do.
It's going to defeat them trying to go get new sponsors, more money, because at the end of the day, if council's going to take it away, what's the incentive to do that?
Thank you, appreciate it. Yes, sir,
Put
go
it in the
ahead.
consent agenda, please.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So I can't, we do have to read it out loud one more time because I have the change on the
Okay,
agenda
very
wording.
good. We'll do that.
But we'll put it on the regular agenda.
Okay, no problem. All right, moving then to agenda item 7.5, presentation, discussion, and possible action on replacing Resolution 21-031R, expressing intent to provide Leon Valley residents with unlimited pickup of loose or bundled brush and bag leaves during semi-annual bulk pickup periods through the end of 2024 at no charge, with Resolution 25-037R to discontinue providing residents with unlimited pickup of loose or bundled brush and bag leaves during semi-annual bulk pickup. And we have Dr. Caldera, our city manager, here to present this evening, and we are able to vote on this if we so choose. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Yes.
So you pretty much read the item. This is going from what we've been practicing, which is we would pick up the additional brush that wasn't picked up during the annual bulk pickup. The council asked for me to take a look at the resolution that was passed in 2024 and to change the way that we have been operating. And so just kind of a little bit of a history, because I was trying to figure out what actually happened, because, I pride myself in trying to keep track of all the things. Well, I wasn't your city manager when this was passed. It was Mr. Perales. And so it looks like from the research that there were some emails between a couple of council members and Mr. Perales about this resolution. The resolution was written by a council member and placed on the agenda for vote and got voted on. The way we do things now is when you request an item, we put it on as a presentation to have a discussion to see if this is something you want to do, and then we write the resolution and bring it back as an action item for y'all to discuss. Just like this one, it was brought up at the coffee. There was a lot of discussion. It was motioned and seconded, and then I brought it back as an actual resolution. The councilors didn't write the resolution. When this took place, the resolution was written by a councilor, put on the agenda, and was adopted. So we didn't even have the original Word document for that resolution. And so the idea, though, in reading the emails and doing the research on it, it seems that the reason it was supposed to end in 12/31/24 was because that's when the contract for Tiger was expiring. And so we have updated that contract since then. But the idea in that conversation, because I wanted you to understand the intent, because the intent, I think, was to continue the intent of that council was to continue the pickup, because in the conversations it was, we'll just add that to the Tiger contract. So the reason it ended, had that specific date, was because that contract with Tiger was going to end. And I think the assumption at the time that the conversation was transpiring was that we may not end up with Tiger on the next contract review go around, and whatever we ended up with was going to be added into that contract. Well, as you all know, we had a solid waste committee. The solid waste committee decided not to add household hazardous waste to, or not household hazardous waste, but unlimited bulk pickup to the fee, as well as household hazardous waste and composting. They decided to keep the base price and stay with Tiger Sanitation. So the unlimited bulk pickup wasn't part of the contract that was signed. So I wanted you to have the history, because I do think the intent of the council back then was to keep picking up the additional brush, but was supposed to add it into the updated contract, is what I can tell from the communications at that time. So I wanted to bring that to your attention as we kind of go through this item. So right now, the council did have, right now Tiger charges $25 an additional yard. In 2024, it took about $4,000 worth of staff time to pick up the bulk. In 2025, it was $8,000. And the number of homes, oh man, it went from this 2025 was 79, and in 2024 it was 34, I think. Am I close? I gave somebody that number.
So is,
Okay. And we do chip on site, but disposal cost is about $1,200. And so the question is whether or not you want to continue this practice. If you do, the way I wrote the resolution is that Tiger Sanitation, we will invoice the homeowner. If the homeowner fails to pay for Tiger, we'll pay the Tiger invoice. Tiger will go pick it up, and then we would assess a lien onto the property.
okay, yes, Counselor Campos, so we need to get this change out if it passes, for sure. Okay.
So we had a conversation, Crystal and I attended a conversation with one of our residents about how we're, there was some.
He was going to be here tonight.
Not confusion, but how do they calculate the base? Because we had got a complaint from one resident that said when he got his bill for the amount to pick up, it did not exclude the 8 cubic yard base. That was one calculation. And then in the meeting we had with another resident that Crystal and I were at, they wanted to know, well, can you define how we can do 8 cubic yards and stay within that. And I think you had a suggestion at the time.
So, and I looked at TML as one of the things I was on the hunt for. And they didn't have it this time. One of the waste providers, and I just got to look it up, it laid flat on the floor, and it was the 12 by 6. So then as long as you fit it in that, I hate to say box because then people think of a box, but it's just flat on the floor. But you fit all your brush in there, and all you're having to worry about is the 3 feet height. So you're not having to do the depth and the width. You're just worrying, making sure that as long as it fits in that rectangle area, that you're just worried about the 3-foot height. And so if it fits in there, then Tiger should pick it up. Was a way to kind of measure the brush for residents that have difficulty determining what 8 cubic yards is.
And then there was one other interesting item on this topic where we had, there's, I guess, some residents, I don't know how many, that don't have Tiger.
Really?
They don't,
Well, so there's a few residents that, so it's required, it's a city ordinance that you're required to have trash pickup. There are some residents that don't pay for trash pickup. I guess they put their trash in their neighbor's can, or they only live here half a year, and so they, some people have businesses here and they dispose their home trash at their Leon Valley business. Some people are military and they may be out there. There are certain provisions with Tiger, though, that will allow some accommodations for some of that. What got taken out of the ordinance during 2021 was the enforcement piece. We used to send out notification for people that didn't, addresses that didn't have Tiger sanitation, and issue citations or issue fines or threatening letters saying that we were going to issue fines if they didn't partake in the trash pickup. We don't have the enforcement piece anymore. I'm not Tiger's collection agency for them, and so there are residents that don't pay for Tiger sanitation.
But wasn't there one resident that said, I don't have Tiger, I've got brush, I don't care if I'm not their customer, city needs to
come
pick
pick it up, yeah. So now, but in that particular case, had that happened any other time of the year, we would have picked it up because we have to clear it, and we would have put a lien. So already, so like outside of the bulk pickup, because we're already doing it, we're picking it up. But the gentleman that we met with, he has one house he pays trash service for and owns another house that he doesn't pay trash service for. And so he was asking why wasn't 16 yards picked up. And so I asked him whether or not he paid for both homes to have trash service. And he said, no, he only pays for one. I said, well, that's why only 8 cubic yards are picked up. We're not going to pick up for a house you don't pay trash service for. So I did address that in somebody's email at some point during bulk pickup, so.
Okay, anything? Yes, Councilor Orozco.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I was here when we passed this. And the spirit of the ordinance that we did here, and it was done between Mr. Bradshaw and Mr. Stevens. And the spirit of this was that we were coming out of COVID, and there was a financial hardship for some of the people to pay to get this over 8 cubic feet to be paid for. So they came up with this, and I did vote for it as well to help some people that had a financial hardship to get this done. And we did agree to end it in 2024, and it has December 31st. But one of the things that that we were talking at the Mayor's Coffee was Mr. Olin did bring it up that some, unfortunately, and I'm not going to say who, but some people do have a tendency to put way much bulk and trees out there and it's costing the city to clean it up. It's costing us, and now we're finally getting back financially. I'm not saying that everybody is, but I believe that it's becoming more of a hardship for the city for the expenditure than not before. The city did charge the citizens before, and talking to Dr. Cardetta, they do send them a letter. Well, they contact Tiger. Tiger picks it up. We pay Tiger, and then we charge them. We cannot put it in the water bill, as you suggested, but in talking to Dr. Cardetta, we do send them a letter, and they 95% of the time they do respond and they do pay for it. Is that correct, Doctor?
Yeah, so back in the day when Waste Management, even when Tiger had it, when people were over, there were normally not that many. I mean, it'd be like 10 or 15 houses remaining that didn't contact Tiger to come pay the difference to come pick it up. So at the end of the day, after all of that transaction would happen, we'd be left with like, say, 10 homes. Normally, for as long as I have been here, there's always a handful of homes that just refuse to pay. I mean, they did. And so we'd give them, it would fall under code compliance and nuisances. So then we'd give them 10 days, we'd send a certified letter, and we'd go through that due process. 9 times out of 10, about, say it was 5, 3 of them would comply at that point. Then you'd be left with the 2. And then normally those were homes owned by property management companies that weren't maybe here, or maybe they say they didn't get the letter. Then we would go pick it up and then we would put a lien on the property back then, and so that's how we handled it in the past. This time we're saying, from my understanding, now we can go back to that way. This is a little bit different in the sense that we're saying the staff isn't going to get involved at all. We're going to call Tiger and tell Tiger to pick it up, and then the city's going to pay Tiger's invoice, and then we'll put the lien on the property. So that's different than what we used to do. This is having Tiger do it. Now, if you want to take Tiger out of the mix, then we can go pick it up and then put a lien on the property for the amount of staff time it takes. My issue with that is I think it's probably going to be less than the $25 at Tiger, so people may just wait for the city to send the letter and then pay our fee instead. So again, I don't know, what the reason, or not the reason, but what your intent is. So if you want Tiger to pick it up, then Tiger's going to be $25 an additional yard. We would pay whatever that is, and then we would put a lien on the property. The other way to do it, that's not the way this resolution is that we would go pick it up, and that's the way we used to do it with Waste Management. We would eventually go pick it up, and then we would assess a lien on the property. So it's up to you.
Yes, Counselor
I
Murray.
think it would be sending mixed messages if the city still stayed involved in picking up the trash. I think it's a much cleaner process to say, this is the way it was always meant to work. If you don't pay Tiger, we'll pay Tiger and put the lien on your house, but let the city stay out of it. One, because we don't have the man-hours to devote to doing the thing, because again, like you indicated, it may take years before we realize the money from the lien on the house. So I'm in favor of the city kind of stepping out of it and leaving it directly with Tiger, and just the city paying the bill to Tiger and initiating the lien, but not giving.
I agree with that.
I do too.
Thanks.
I mean, we still have to do the lien. That's work in itself.
Absolutely.
Right.
The other thing just to consider, because I know y'all will get a little bit of a blowback when we start advertising that this is the way that we're going to go. The next first bulk pickup, you're going to get complaints. You're going to say Tiger didn't pick up the 8 cubic yards. They only picked up 2. I had the same complaints with Waste Management. People don't want to believe that, but it's not singular to one waste management company. We would get complaints about Waste Management. It just didn't come out as much as it did when Tiger took over the contract. And I think it was because we changed vendors. People felt like Tiger was nickel and diming them. That was the whole conversation. I went back to listen to that set of minutes. And it looks like Tiger, they were being accused of, not really calculating appropriately. Now, I will say when we were with Waste Management, we would get calls too that, they only picked up, 2 branches. So I think you're going to get those complaints. There are times that I see I've sent y'all pictures of the large brush, and some of them are really large. But then there's some that I sent you that it's like, if you squish this a little bit, it may be 8 cubic yards. And so there are some times that we tell Tiger, hey, we think that, what was the reasoning for this? Taking a look at it really looks like 8 cubic yards. So we do challenge some of them, because they send us pictures on every single property. I sent y'all like half of the ones I got that first go around. And so, but I want you to be aware that there could be some blowback from the community in regards to brush pickup.
Yes, Counselor Murray.
I do think it's important when we publicize this change in policy that we also let people know that they can cut the brush up into smaller pieces and put it in their trash can, that is allowed. Because again, as I mentioned before, if they came from San Antonio, they get in trouble for doing that because they have to put it into the brown bucket, not the green bucket. So I think we need to expound on the fact that if you can take the smaller pieces, you can either get it down to the 8 cubic yards, or if they didn't pick up something, then you might be able to dispose of it over time in your trash can by trimming it.
I also, when driving the neighborhood, noticed that there were a lot of residents that had an enormous amount of tree limbs that were not cut small. I mean, they could have, and it took a lot of time because I had to do it myself, but I got 3 or 4 trees cut into that little itty bitty thing, but you just got to cut them really small. You know, it just takes time and work, instead of just leaving it for the city to take care of.
So if y'all are going to change the resolution, my recommendation for educational purposes is we put it in e-news, Lion's Roar, but when we do the postcard for the brush pickup, we put in big bold letters, this is the change. So that will be a change to the postcard that goes out.
Thank you, Mr. Orozco, for reminding us that we were doing this because of COVID.
Right.
I was is that what you,
I
did
didn't
you
see
hear
that
that?
in any of the email
Oh,
communications, but it may
okay.
have been part of a discussion.
It was
You
part of
know,
the
so that's
discussion,
why,
yes, ma'am.
again, there was a purpose to that, and,
And there's
so
some
I
inventive
appreciate
ways
that,
to do it. For
yeah.
instance, my neighbor cut his tree, and
Yeah.
there was just too much. We put it in different neighbors' houses
Mm-hmm.
that would bring it smaller, so we had 3 or 4 piles in 4
Yeah.
different houses.
Mhm.
So there's
Right.
ways to get around it. And one of the things, there's 3,000 homes in Leon Valley, Doctor? And only about 5% put limbs out there. So, I mean, there's way to get away. I know that Tiger doesn't lose money on this, but there's ways to get around it and, be a little bit more inventive on ways to get it done and avoid the bill.
Well, thank you for that. I know, it's been 4 years, so it's been a long time, so, yes, sir,
Could
go
we
ahead.
get citizen input if
Yeah,
anybody has
citizen
any?
input, anybody, yes, Mr. Yarnell, thank you for that.
My question is, I haven't had one in my neighborhood for some time. When Tiger comes through, do they mark the 8-foot that's allowable and put like a green, and then put an X and a red on the rest of it, or how do they do that?
It was a spray paint thing
Yeah, spray
this
paint.
year, yeah.
What they're not going to pick up.
What they're not gonna pick up, okay, I would, yeah,
Hold on,
yeah,
I don't know. They mark
yeah.
the section. I
They
don't know
mark,
if it's to be picked up or not.
I've seen only red or
They
green.
only use red. They
Yeah.
only use red.
yeah.
But I don't know if it's vice versa. I'd have to get back. and-
So this question of, well, they didn't give me credit for the 8 square cubic yards.
They do give you credit.
So what happens if they mark the 8 cubic yards in green and the rest of it in red?
Well,
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Marsh.
they're only marking what is it in excess of the 8 cubic feet. So most of the time, they mark that in advance of the pickup start. But this year, I know it happened to my neighbor, that they had somebody on the truck that marked it at the time. That's the only one that gets me, is because you don't really get the advance notice to do something about it so that you're not over. You definitely have to deal with it after the fact. But it's anything, if they see orange, that means it's in excess of their 8 cubic
It's in
feet.
excess.
And they need to come up with Plan B.
Okay, so there's no way to mark the 8 cubic, this is 8 cubic feet, and we'll pick this up, and the rest over here is extra?
Well,
People seem
you'd
to
have
be
to
having a
talk
question
to,
about
you'd
it.
have to talk to Waste Management about doing that, but I don't think that Tiger, I don't think they would want to go back and do it twice, because
No,
they
just
make
do it once. You can go out there and you measure, this part, this much is yes, and the rest of this is no.
Well, they just do the no part, they don't do the yes part, but they make several trips around because people are putting brush out all throughout the weeks
Okay.
ahead of that. So they may have gone down this street already, and these people didn't have any brush out, and then the day before pickup, they put, 12 cubic feet out or
And we
whatever.
also have people like that will add to their brush pile. So like they'll
Oh,
come and
yeah.
mark and then they come out and they add branches.
Guilty.
So,
My gosh.
so they're picking up, they're going and judging it, and if it's within the rules, they'll pick it up. If it's not, they mark it red.
Or they'll pick up as much as within the rules.
What,
and
they'll
not
pick up
use
what,
the
they're,
rest of the
okay,
stuff.
they're not marking it, but they're picking up the yes part.
And I think the other complication comes when they have both brush and like furniture or mattresses or whatever, because they tell you to separate them, but then it's harder to know whether you're within your eight feet or not.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yarnell, for those. Okay, so if there's no other discussion, what is the pleasure of the council on this agenda item? We are able to vote.
As Dr. Cardella suggested, let's go with,
The resolution that was
Yes,
written.
ma'am.
There is, so the one that was in your packet, the last whereas is supposed to be section 1. So I put it on there. So there wasn't any, it's just the last whereas moved to your section 1. So
This
it's
is the
there.
one.
Yeah, but no words changed. It's the exact same one that's in the packet. I just, when I wrote it, I just didn't put the section 1. So the last whereas that's in the packet is your section 1. But there's no
The
change.
last word.
That's the updated one. So go to your section 1, Mayor. On the
Okay.
packet language that's in your packet, that was the last whereas.
Okay, and so then you've added,
I didn't add, I just moved it to section 1.
just moved it, okay, I'll compare and contrast. Okay, thank you.
That was the only change, yes.
Appreciate it. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
So, yes, go ahead, yes.
I'll second the motion to do the new ordinance where.
Resolution.
Sorry. Do the new resolution where Tiger picks up and we pay Tiger, and then we put the lien on the house for whatever we paid for that homeowner's Tiger bill,
Just say as presented.
as presented.
Okay, very good. So we have a motion by Counselor Orozco and a second by Counselor Mersch to approve Resolution 7.5 as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Thank you. And we've got one last agenda item at 8:56, and that is 7.6, presentation, discussion, and possible action on the 2026 City Council meeting calendar. And we have Sandra Posley, our City Secretary, here to present. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Just a fun fact, did y'all know that daylight savings is Cher's favorite day?
I'm sorry?
Daylight savings day is Cher's favorite day because she gets to actually turn back time.
It was a joke. She gets to turn back
Oh.
That's funny.
Okay.
Anyway, I've been waiting all night to say that, so, because it feels late. So in your packet, I did provide you the 2026 regular city council, is this not working? Dates. Okay. I just want to get to that. There. So that sheet, it looks like this, and it's got your regular council meetings as well as your coffee and your town hall. I did go through and look at anything that might be a conflict, and the things that are normal would be TML, and TML is actually in San Antonio next year, and oddly, they're doing it on the first day is on Veterans
It's in
Day.
November. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
So there's no conflict on that. The only ones that you might want to consider is maybe the January 6th meeting because it is coming off the holiday. And I think historically you have canceled the first meeting in January. And then October 6th is National Night Out, and that is your meeting night. So those are the two dates that I saw that were in conflict
Okay.
that you might want to consider. And then I think Dr. Caldera had one.
Well,
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring up the summer. I'd like to cancel, so I do like to cancel the second meeting in June and the first meeting in July, but the reason it's not on here is we don't have the 4th of July event this year. And so I didn't know if council even wanted to consider that or not. I do think that we have called meetings as necessary in the summer because we've had extra meetings in between those dates, whether it's an additional retreat or workshop or whatever it may be. But I do think it gives the council members time to have a vacation as well as the staff, knowing that we're not going to have a set council meeting from, so it's normally the second meeting in June and the first meeting in July, just for something for you to consider. But it's not in Saunders' presentation, but it is, you know.
I understand. Well, I agreed about the January 6th and the National Night Out, and I agree with the two summer meetings because, like you said, I remember what happened this past summer. We had the two dates off, but we still had multiple meetings, so it doesn't preclude us from calling special meetings. But again, it gives a break for the staff and for the council. Yes, Counselor Marsh.
So does anybody know how the Coffee with the Mayor on April 25th falls into Fiesta activities?
good.
We're good? Okay.
And the mayor likes that one because we have a good crowd. You know, April 25th, there's also early voting going on. So it kind of draws more people over there to vote.
Yes,
Sandra, can you put up the
schedule.
dates?
Can you do the
I don't
schedule?
think I put that in the PowerPoint.
Oh, you didn't put it in the
But I have
PowerPoint.
mine here.
Here you go.
Well, I just want to check out May, because May, I think that's election day. And let me go back here. April, May the 5th. When is election day?
It's always a Saturday.
Is it a Saturday?
First Saturday in May. We're good.
Okay. Because I'm sure there's going to be some council people who are running.
Maybe.
Maybe, well, I'm
Yeah,
not.
our general election is always the first Saturday in May.
Okay. So what was the other day that you were talking about, Dr. Cardetta?
So June 16th and July 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It'd be January 6th, October the 6th, June 16th, and July 7th. And again, at any point, if y'all want to call a meeting, certainly.
Definitely. Counselor Campos.
So is there a way that we can, so the January 6th, I agree that, okay, we're coming off the holiday, but can we just reschedule it to another day now?
That is another option. We just have to remember that new 3-day posting, just to make sure that staff's here to present, put together their items. Because if you looked, I didn't bring that calendar, but Crystal and I looked at it, and it's like for posting that meeting, because of the holiday, we'd have to have that one posted like December 12th or something like that.
Yeah, so it's a weird kind of thing. Now, I will tell you, it has been my experience when we have held meetings for whatever because we have rescheduled in the past. You meet for nothing because the staff isn't going to turn in agenda items for you. They're just not.
I was going to say,
they
it's
just
pretty
don't.
dead
Now,
during that time.
I will say that I know the mayor's brought up maybe moving the erosion meeting, the historical society's coming back for a change, and we'll put that on the agenda for y'all to discuss at the 18th meeting. But that would be appropriate because it's just one item and
Yeah,
we're prepping that
right.
presentation. So you could do a workshop or a separate meeting in regards to that, or if we wanted to do, if I had all the information for I probably won't, but if I had all the information for the Capitol to present to y'all, that would be probably relevant I could do that at one time. So again, it's just one of those things that you can do, but in my experience, even without the 3-day posting, staff just won't submit anything to kind of.
Well, plus they're all working a lot for the town hall items, which is also that month.
And what about the October the 6th?
That's
That
National
when you
Night
have
Out.
National Night
No,
Out.
no, I realize that, but
Oh,
can we
we don't.
reschedule
Yeah,
that?
we don't. That part
No,
doesn't bother
we
us.
just don't.
Y'all just haven't, but I mean, that's a complete, if you do, the staff, I mean, we'll do whatever y'all want for that one.
Because over the last 2 years, maybe more, but that I'm aware of, the Leon Valley Night Out, we postponed that, but then we come back to a bigger agenda,
Right.
and it's kind of like, okay.
I think a couple years y'all did move it to the Monday before, like the 6th
and
would
maybe-
be the 5th
Maybe
instead
we
of the 6th.
consider that.
So you can, I just will say you didn't stay late. I mean, you stayed till 10:30, I think, that night. Like, it was a heavy agenda, but you weren't here till midnight. I mean, we've been here till 1 in the morning. I mean, I've been here till the next day, so, so I'm used to those long meetings. So it doesn't bother me, but it's at the pleasure of the council. It's more of like, if we think we're gonna have a lot of items, we can call a meeting. You don't have to put it on now, but you can if you want to. The whole idea for me to give you the calendars, there's members on this dais that work that like to be able to turn in, their stuff or plan vacations, and so they wanted that, we like to make sure that the calendar is adopted at the beginning of the fiscal year. So whatever's at the pleasure of the council.
Okay. And I'm fine with the second meeting in June and the first one in July being
Okay.
eliminated.
I want to make sure that I understand that the January 6th, we will not be having a meeting?
Correct.
No.
January 6th will be canceled, depending on the motion. October 6th, June 16th, and July 7th are the dates being proposed to cancel. And again, we have called July, this past summer was a good example. We held special, but we call and try to get a roll call to see who's available for those
But
events.
some of us took 3 weeks off for the first time in 12 years. And it was nice.
Yeah, sure. I think everybody needs
Yeah.
time off, really does. Yeah, go ahead, Counselor Marsh.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the schedule as presented with the exception of canceling the January 6th, the June 16th, the July 7th, and the October 6th meetings, and then call other meetings as necessary.
All right, we have a motion by Counselor Marsh and a second by Counselor Campos to adopt the 4 Tuesday meetings that we've discussed to cancel in 2026 and call additional meetings as needed. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Thank you very much.
And I'm sorry, I marked it.
Do appreciate here.
It's on the website now.
Okay, very good. All right. So, thank you. And so number 8 is requests from members of council to add items to future agenda. And Dr. Caldera just mentioned, I just talked to her today about postponing the erosion meeting with the Historical Society to make that, not the first week of the January 6th, but the second week before the 20th, after the holidays. There's just a lot of moving pieces, but we need to come back and discuss it on the 18th. So,
Yeah, I'm all about being flexible. I think we
Yeah.
were even looking at the December 4th. To me, that was a reasonable adjustment because it said bring back in November, but I thought 4 days into the next month was fine.
Yeah.
But now we're talking the whole new calendar year, and that wasn't the direction of the path moving forward from the governing body. So I just thought it was appropriate to bring back to let y'all know and see if that's what the council would like to do.
and I did let Dr. Caldera know the Historical Society is sending a letter and they're asking for additional information. And I thought, then I did share with my colleagues that were in Fort Worth. I ran into Commissioner Rodriguez, and he said that they wanted to help us on a flood control project, which is different from erosion, but still,
Yeah,
just,
so if y'all
there's
went with
there's
the,
a lot of moving
yeah, so if you
parts.
went with the aligning of the creek, that is a flood control project because it would remove homes and it's flood control. If you went with just filling the hole and doing the retaining wall, that's an erosion project, that's not a flood control project. So it's just a matter of what we're asking for funding. So I need the option. And then if we have those people here, they can say on the record what they're willing to fund or not fund. So I would also have, if the request from the historical societies to have those individuals present, I also need to see their availability. So there's a lot of moving pieces to that.
Right. So is that, okay, we'll just discuss it on the 18th but thank you for that. Anything else? Future agenda items.
No, we have we have the zoning commission item coming up at the next one, and you have the Oakwood one that we had to postpone. But
Yes,
that one's
we've had
ready to
to-
go, and we'll see you all at the next one.
And
You
a
will
possible
also-
proclamation.
You have, so you will have 3 proclamations for each of the officers. I decided to separate them so each officer can
Okay.
take home their own proclamation.
Okay.
But we can
All
discuss reading just one and how you can read just one, and then, but I just wanted them to have their individual moment, I guess, if that makes
Sure.
sense. For that one, and you will also have your rollover and a couple of budget adjustments for this year on the remaining projects from last fiscal year.
Okay.
On the
very good.
18th.
All right. Sounds great. And then it's Thanksgiving. My
And then it's
goodness, where's this year going to, y'all? It's amazing. Okay. So if there's no further discussion on the future agenda items, and if there's no objection, we move to adjourn at 9:08 on November the 4th, Election Day. Let's go see what happened. I don't know.
Just release the results. I didn't look yet.
Okay, I have no idea.
I didn't look at it.
Oh, I haven't either. I've just been, signing stuff. All right, y'all, thank you. Have a good evening. So good to see everyone.